Oi, 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 girls and geezers. Hope you all had a lovely weekend. It's Monday evening, which of course means only one thing. We have got the OGs channel, which also means another thing. We are joined by the legend that is Normski, the legend that is Shane, and the legend that is DJB. And I'm very, very, very privileged to have them on the show every single Monday to pick up you guys. And of course, the most important people, which are the chat. That's why we do it. We'd just be four geezers having a little waffle offline, but we get the honour and the privilege of having a little waffle in front of you guys. So big up to you. Smash a like. All the guys' channels are pinned. So if you can go and give them a cheeky follow if you haven't already, that would be fantastic. Normski, how you doing, bro? You're up top here to the right.
I know. I feel a little bit. Yeah, thanks.
You know what? You know everything's going all right when Normski's first and backstage.
Yeah,
you know
what I mean? Wait for it now, guys. We are top of the league. I say we are top of the.
He's inverted. He's inverted up the top, man.
That's it. We had to get Normski up there.
I don't know.
You see, the OGs was going so well that Aaron decided just to switch it, just like Arteta. Just switch it for no reason. Switch it up for no reason, man. It's going well.
Yeah, I've inverted, mate. I'm inverted. I'm absolutely inverted, bro.
You'll be injured soon as well, mate. Don't worry.
No, right now.
This is Havertz dropping back into midfield in 23-24 when everything was going fine, and he dropped them back in against Villa and we lost.
If Aaron starts to move me around a bit, Aaron, if you start to move me around a bit, I'll probably feel like California. Because he never stays.
I'm worried. I'm worried now, mate.
Move him around.
I'm worried.
Causes confusion.
He's not Calafiori now because he's actually at left back, so he gets. That's the only place he doesn't play. Oh, look at this!
What's going on? What's going on? He's changing too much.
I'm the show now. Like, all right, nice guys. How you doing, TJ? But you all right, mate? Had a good weekend?
All good. All good.
Good game now. Yeah, mine was fantastic, son. What about you, Shane?
I don't like it here, man. It's freaking me out.
It just feels weird, man. It feels weird, man. I'm normally to the that's it. That's weird. This is our original.
Are we all happy?
Yeah, man.
That's it. As long as you're all happy, I'm happy. That's the main thing. Listen, and I suppose in terms of football results-wise, Arsenal Football Club, we have got somewhat of reason to be happy. There's obviously always going to be little bits that you can, be concerned about or worried about this, that, or the other. But ultimately, we're top of the league by 1 point after 7 games. And I think it's fair to say, if you'd have offered me that at the start of the season, I would have bit your arm off because I looked at them opening fixtures, especially when we hadn't signed so many of the signings. I was looking and thinking, wow, man, this could be a real tricky worry. Now, that doesn't negate the fact that there has been some poor performances and some poor results. We're never going to... 3 games is never going to mask that. It's just as simple as that. But, when you sort of deepen it, 1 point ahead, looking okay, nothing fantastic. We played Olympiacos. We went 1-0 up quite early on. Failed to really sort of put that game to bed earlier. We had plenty of chances to do so, and we didn't take them. And sort of the same at West Ham, even though we got the penalty that little bit sort of earliest, I think 60 or 70th minute. But, still felt that we could have done more. But ultimately, again, 2-0. What did you make of it, DJB? Because, again, it was another weekend that Arsenal won in terms of, obviously, Liverpool's results. And this time it was us that played first, enabling us to put some pressure on Liverpool. Something we did not do once last season. We didn't do it once. We let them go ahead, and as soon as they got that 5-point bracket, 5 games, 10 games, la-di-da-di-da, we just never capitalised, never put them under pressure once. We had one opportunity to do that this weekend, and they blew it against Chelsea. And we, of course, wrote a couple of wrongs and beat West Ham 2-0. What did you make of it all, man?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things that we've done so far, and that is when Liverpool have... played before us and won, we've had to get a result, or if they've lost, we've had to go and get a result or capitalise like we did, and we did that. The other day, obviously, we played first, we had to win, we did that. So, that's all well and good, And yeah, I'm a bit like you. If you'd have said, well, I didn't predict it, I'll hold my hands up. I mean, if you'd have said we'd be sitting a point clear or 2 points clear going into October, 6 points in the Champions League, I'd have said, nah, it ain't happening. So on that level, you got to be happy. You got to be kind of happy. But there's a difference of being kind of happy and excited. I'm happy, but am I excited? Not really. I'm still looking at kind of being in that kind of second gear, if you like. Do you know what I mean? We're not really going for the jugular and killing teams off. There could have been a bag of goals there against West Ham. Let's be honest. If we'd have really turned it, we should have scored 3 or 4 goals there. You know, I think if we'd have won 3 or 4, no one would have argued. That's the problem. We're still having pockets and long periods of the game where we're not effective enough. My biggest worry with that is how many games can you keep getting away with playing like that? 1-0, 2-0, relying, you know, penalties, that kind of thing. You're not going to be able to get away with that all season. There will come a time when you'll get punished. So have we been really tested yet? On a couple of occasions? Yeah, I mean, you might as well. But Man City came and didn't offer a lot, so we weren't really tested there. Liverpool showed signs, but we weren't really tested for sort of long periods of time there. The only game really that we've probably been tested in was the first game of the season at Old Trafford. We was on the back foot for most of the game there, and it was like awful. But yeah, look, 6 points in the Champions League, top of the Premiership. We're into October. It's all looking rosy at the moment. But we've been here before, guys. We've been here many, many times before. You know, we've been riding high. We've been top of the leagues. We've put runs together. We've played some scintillating football in the past, etc., etc., etc. And I said yesterday on my channel, this ain't the time when Arteta struggles. When Arteta struggles, back end of the season, when he needs to get the results, when he has to get the results to make a difference, when he's challenged in quarterfinals and semi-finals, when he has to make those big decisions count at real critical times. Yeah. They're the things that I'm going to think of as he learnt his lesson. Has he learnt his lesson, or are we going to go back to what we saw previous years and the years before that? But yeah, look, at the moment, everyone's getting excited. You've got us level of fans that are keeping our feet on the floor because we don't trust this manager, because we've seen it time and time again. So we're keeping our feet on the floor. We're obviously gassed that we're top of the league. We're obviously over the moon that we've got 6 points in the Champions League. But we know what's coming. The problem is there's a high group of fans that are now saying, oh, we're going to win the league. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. This is going to, you know, Champions League. We're going to win it all. FA Cup, Carabao. I've heard them.
They get too excited, didn't they? They're so trigger happy.
Too excited because what they're doing, see, and we've all said this. Shane said it. Numsky said it. You said it. Lee, Matty, Kenny. They all live in the moment. They forget what happens in the past. They forget the record of the manager in the past. They forget all about that. They're just living in the moment. They look at the league table. They go, yeah, we're top of the league. We're going to win everything. But there's no evidence to say that we're going to win everything because we haven't done it yet. We haven't done it. They're all ripping into Liverpool now because they've lost 3 games. But what they've got to remember, that will be put right very, very quickly. Right? Because, you know, he's going to be forced to change the team because Salah's going off to AFCON. So he will be forced to change the team. And they're winners. They've got players that have won. They've got players that have got over the line. So they will change it around very, very quickly. The trouble is with our players, we haven't won anything. So we have got, every game we play, we've got to be max all the time. We've got to give 100% all the time. We can't afford to slip up. We can't afford to slip up. Because if we go 3 games where we don't win a game, and we've been used to finishing runners up all the season, how are we going to react? And it will come. There will be times when we go through a little sticky patch where we'll draw 1, lose 1. there will be those. There will be that time in the season. So, look, listen. At the moment, going into the international break, I'm happy, but I'm not deluded with it. I'm keeping 2 feet on the ground and see where we are come May.
Yeah, look, that's absolute facts, D. And before I bring you in, Shane, as well, I said this on a catcher show last night. Big up the catchers in the chat. If you're still here, big up, bro. Go and give the cheeky geezer a like and a subscribe. Doing good things over there. And I sort of said when questioned about, I think he questioned me about why I don't think Arsenal are favourites or will win it after being 1 point ahead after 7 games. And I sort of said, with Liverpool, if they were 1-0 up, same points, same everything, they were 1 point ahead. You'd probably be confident that they'd be able to do it because they've just done it. They're a team that has proven under 2 different managers, but the similar-ish-esque sort of squad, that they've done it before. So if Liverpool were in this stage, you'd go, yep, still looking good. You'd fancy them because they have history of getting over the line. Same with Manchester City, even though this isn't the Manchester City side of 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Yes, they're not playing the best football like they was 2-3 years ago. But if Manchester City were the team 1-0 ahead, 1 point rather, ahead of this league, you go, yeah, Pep's done it before. These players know how to get over the line. They've got Haaland. So, this is sort of why. It's not because we're choosing to be negative, or especially me in general, in my own opinion. It's not because I feel like it's negative to say that Arteta won't win it. It's because he is by far the less proven out the lot. He spent a lot of money, had a lot of backing in a lot of time, and he has won significantly less. You just cannot argue with that facts. And I think, Shane, this is what we get frustrated about, bud, isn't it? They just are so trigger happy. Dick's already in hand, and they're just ready to just completely get go after 7 games. Do you know what I mean? Whereas for us, we're just calmer. Yes, it's a great position, isn't it, Shane? But, a long way to go, innit, bro?
Look, first off, thanks for having me on. Big up to the chat. Big up to everybody on the panel. As I was saying backstage, I'm taking a break from the sort of bigger panels, but the regular ones like this and the old school show. I do love coming on and just having a football chat. And yeah, look, you know my stance on it. I said it this morning. If he had won the league in say 22-23, right, and won an FA Cup or a League Cup as well as the other FA Cup, I'd have us as favourites now. I go, right now, we're favourites, right? Because he's done it. He's gotten over the line. But I have seen him choke.
I said exactly that as well, by the way.
In different situations. I've seen him choke when we were ahead. I've seen him choke when we're chasing and it's just 2 points and City are winning, we're winning, City are winning, we're winning. Then we get the lead on him and then he slips up the very next game against Villa. Or then he draws at the end. So I've seen it over and over and over again. So that's why I say to people, and they fly off the handle when I say it, that even if we go into the last game of the season and we're Palace away and we're 3 points ahead, but we can lose it on goal difference, there will still be a part of me going, he's going to slip up. Now, that's an Arteta thing, but it's also an Arsenal thing. We have a history of doing that in the past anyway. You know what I mean? If you watch any documentaries on the 88-89 season, all the fans were thinking, even when we went 2-0 up at Anfield, okay, there's a minute left. We're Arsenal, we're going to throw this away. You know what I mean? So it's even before him. It's an Arsenal thing. He's just reiterated it. But what people don't seem to get, and this thing, man, everybody's talking about Liverpool's form. I called City at the start of the season. I said City are going to win the league at the start of the season.
They're only 3 points behind, Shane.
They're 3 points behind. They're quietly going about the business. The only goal they've let in the league since they got Donnarumma was that Martinelli goal. So they're keeping clean sheets. Now, the stuff that I'm calling Arsenal out on, I call them out on as well because it's fair against Brentford. They should have put the game to bed because they had more possession than anybody else. I'm not into all that stuff, by the way. Possession means nothing unless you're fucking peppering the goal, which they were, kind of. But they should have put that to bed. They could have easily drawn that in the last minute on a different day. Brentford, they were hurling the ball into the box with long throws and stuff at the end. So I'll call them out when they do something wrong. But they're quietly going about their business. If you look in and around the Bournemouths and stuff like that, we've got all these teams coming up, the Palaces that have always done us before. And it can change so quickly. We've seen that. We were going into the Newcastle weekend thinking we could be 8 points behind. But you can have a switch like that again. So my problem is I understand people getting excited. Fine, get excited. But don't come sniping for me because I refuse to jump on the bandwagon. You know what I mean? Just because my standards are different to somebody else's, they don't have a right to snipe at me. I had a guy on X today, you were on Lee's stream saying even if you win the league, Arteta's still on fraud watch. I said, yeah, if he wins the league, he needs to continually do it. He needs to do something again the next season, because I will still believe that he'll struggle. Oh, but you can't think that. Yes, I can. If I want to think that, I can. This is Arsenal. There's certain standards. And if my standards are different to yours, don't get tick with me because my standards are different to yours. Your standards are your standards. My standards are my standards. Oh, but do you want to go back to when we look? I don't care, man. You can give me that. Do you want to go back to this? Do you want to go back to that? Do you want to go back to the 2010s when this was? Do you want to go back? Right. Regardless of when, even when Wenger was finishing sixth, the standard was still win the league, right? We weren't reaching the standard, but that was still the standard. We were just further off it. So for me, once you're not hitting that standard, then it's not good enough. For me, Arsenal should be challenging for the league every year. Never going to happen, but that should be the standard. We're the third most successful team in England. That's not going to last, by the way, if this manager stays here. That's another reason why I want him to win more trophies. That's why I want him to win trophies regularly, because Chelsea are catching us and City are catching us. And that's a proud record. That's a really proud record. It's stood for over a century. So winning one or two little things isn't enough. And that's why I won't forgive him, because we should have won cups and stuff in between. If we weren't going to win the league, we should have a couple of League Cups or a couple of FA Cups or something that keeps the Wolves away from the door. Because Chelsea are catching us. And people don't understand how big that is. It's like the Invincible season. As that was unfolding, we didn't realise how big it was. Nobody did. The players didn't even realise. They say it themselves. They didn't know why Wenger just kept pushing it on them. When the league was won, they were like, look, it's won, relax. And he's like, no, trust me. You will thank me. If you see this season out unbeaten, you'll thank me. And they do. It's their proudest moment for most of them. So people don't seem to understand that if we lose this record, it's massive. You know, it's huge. And all these people that are putting up for Arteta online, and they love getting off on bantering Chelsea fans and stuff like that, you won't have that anymore. If they pass us out, man, it's done. It's over. It's all over. And people don't seem to realise it. So even if we do win the league, my whole point is that we should have won it 2 out of the last 3 years, and with a better manager, we would have. But listen, to get to the way the season's gone, it's 7 games, right? Great. I had us out of the league at this point in the summer. Now, before the signings and stuff like that, but then even after the signings, I said, no, look, it's this manager. I don't trust him. But we've been here so many times, man. So many times with this manager. Not last season, we weren't top for a minute. But it's the same difference as in every time we had a chance, like you said, Aaron, to catch Liverpool, or every time they slipped up, we slipped up every single time. And that was the same when we were going with City. That was the same. And what does that mean? It means every time there's pressure on, this guy finds a way to blow it. And if we think about it, we scored in the 93rd minute against City and the 96th minute against Newcastle, right? On a different day, you don't get that draw and you don't get that win. So that's how close he's cutting it. Even the West Ham game. Yeah, they didn't have a shot on target, but it just takes one corner or something when you're 1-0 up and you're messing around with the ball. They equalise and a win becomes a draw. But look, I'm rambling on. But yeah, my point is, look, great, we're top, all of that stuff, but it can change very fucking quickly. Like, so we said it when we beat Newcastle, we said, right, the next 5 games, we need to win all 5 of them. No messing around. 5 wins, that's it. It's 1 down. Let's do the next 4, and then we'll sit down and have a talk about where we are. I don't want to be looking at Liverpool's results, but for all we know, City will be 3 points ahead of us by then. We don't know. So just like I always say, pump the brakes a little, and we'll see where we are by then. But it is really just a game at a time now. But this guy will find a way to self-destruct. He always does. Havertz will be thrown in the 10 or something when he comes back, something like that. He'll find a way to blow this. And until
he's got it in his locker, in his
hands, he's got it in his locker. He's a history of it. Yeah. Until he's lifting that trophy, I will always believe that he'll find a way to blow it. And I'm well within my rights to think that, because he's lost the last 19 competitions that he's entered.
Yeah. Now, and the thing is as well, you're always going to have that PTSD because we've seen it so many times now. It's not as if, it's for one season. It's 3 seasons in the Premier League in terms of trying to finish first and 1 finishing 4th. That's 4 seasons on the trot. He has failed to get his target.
When it's been in his hands. When it's been in his hands.
Exactly.
It's a trust thing, isn't it? It's a trust thing, isn't it?
Yeah, we've also seen both sides of the coin, didn't we, D? In terms of, we've seen him 8 points ahead and not know how to deal with it. And we've seen him 2, 3, 4, 5 points behind and not know how to close it. So, there's so many different factors as to why you would, I think, factually and honestly think, this manager probably won't do it. I don't mean to say that we don't want it to happen. Why would we not want Arsenal to win the Premier League this year?
This is the thing, man. This
why
is
would
what
we?
I'm getting
They're like,
all the time.
Will you even be celebrating? Yeah, I will be celebrating. I'll be in the ground. If we win the Champions League, I'll be in Budapest. Yeah, no, that's where I'll be. Where will you be?
This is what gets me. That's what they always hit you with. I've been getting that a lot. Oh, you want them to? Why the fuck would I want them to lose? Why on earth would I want my team to lose? Like, and that's what I keep saying. We're win-win this year, because if he proves us wrong, we get to celebrate a league or a Champions League. If he doesn't prove us wrong, hopefully he's sacked. So we get win-win. And the whole thing is that I'll finish this because I know no one's wants to come in. But what we were sort of touched on there with the PTSD thing. You know, and people saying, "Oh, look, we're top of the league, so why can't you get excited?" Well, to me, it's like someone that lives with a partner who's got like a drink problem, and they keep saying every week, "I'm going to give up, love. I swear I'm going to stop," and then they go off it for 2 weeks, and then they go back on it, and I knew you go back on it. So even if they do finally get it, they could go 6 months. There's always going to be that thing in the back of the mind of the partner going, every time they come in, smell their breath. You know what I mean? Are they going to go back on it? It takes a long time.
Yeah.
The more he fails, the longer it's going to take for us to trust him to get over the line.
Yeah. Do you know what? And I always use a similar analogy, mate. Like, it's like if you had a chica who cheated on you when she went out on a night out to a nightclub, and then you forgive her for whatever dumb reason, and then a couple of months later, she was going out to the same nightclub. Like, there is no way, even if you've forgiven her or not, you wouldn't still go, fuck me, like, she cheated on me last time she went there. Do you know what I mean? You'd always have that in the back of your head. And that, until Arteta proves to us that he can win something, we're always going to think that. It's just, I think that's just logical. I don't understand why people can't grasp that concept.
Yeah.
But Norms as well, man. Obviously, I want your thoughts on the game and everything like that. And we've got the Arteta giddy fans, the Simps, they're all going crazy. We've got this now. Oh, we're 1 point ahead over the 3 seasons. What's that?
That's not real.
Oh, what? I thought that was this. I've seen this on a couple of.
No, they're still a point ahead.
Oh, what? Even still today?
Yeah, because they were 4 points ahead of us, and now we're only 3, so it's 1.
Well,
they've
off your pop.
They've doctored it. Yeah, they've doctored it.
Off your pop. But either way, I suppose, even though it's like little dent there, you know, the fact is, and the point we was going to allude to, Norms, everyone's getting giddy, but in that period, we have amassed 0 league titles.
Yeah, I was going to say. No, I was going to say I've lost how many cups we've won for all these stats that have been pushed in our faces week in, day out. You know what I mean? It gets rather tiring. Obviously, Emmanuel Petit addressed this on TalkSport as well. I did send the clip to Shane. And you know, White was talking about after 300 games, 177 wins, and you know, it all sounds impressive and everything. And Emmanuel Petit just kind of looks at him and sort of said, "Well, yeah, and what? So what do you get at the end of 177 wins?" Do you know what I mean? He's answering that question. You know, he goes, and they even asked him a question. So he said, "Well, Jim White, ask the question, do you think we're going to win? Do you think he goes, to be honest, I don't think we're going to win because we're talking about previous. We're talking about previous. When somebody talks about somebody that has previous, whether you do something good or you do something bad, you've got historical evidence there. So you're going to base everything that you do on historical evidence. Whether if somebody says, if you know, Man City have won it 4 times in a row, the likelihood is you're going to think, well, they're going to go next season if they spend right and everything. The chances are they're going to win it again. That's how you're going to think. That's how you logically think.
If a gun was to your head, you'd go with them every single day of the week, wouldn't you?
Exactly. So, you know, this whole thing, listen, it's fantastic that we're sitting top of the league because, listen, last season, when we was chasing down Liverpool, when they dropped points, we didn't capitalise, This is the only time this season where the teams that we have dropped points against, Newcastle and West Ham, we've kind of got over that hurdle, We go into the international break, top of the league by 1 point. Everybody now is saying we're going to win the league. Calm it down. Pump the brakes, as Shane would say, or put those reins on those horses and just hold up, mate. Do you know what I mean? Just hold up. Let's just assess it. Because you still got to look at the game in its entirety. You've got to look at where things was working, where things are working. You've got to look at injuries. Odegaard now is going to be out for, I know we're probably going to touch on it later. He looks like he's going to be out for a few months and that. So, you know, we're not going to always have a full squad. Yeah, it's almost like we're going into this utopia world and everything's just going to be perfect and fine. Do you know what I'm trying to say? We just need to calm it down. We're realists, and the fact that we're realists and the fact that we want standards for the club doesn't mean to say that we do not want our team to win. I want this team to win. Listen, if I said it to Shane, I just private conversation. I said if we was to like stink our way through this league, stink our way the way we're playing through this league and win the Premier League, I say fantastic. Now do it again. Do it again. Because if Pep can do it 4 times in a row, if Fergie can do it 3 times in a row, why can't well, I'm saying why can't we, but with a better manager? Because this guy doesn't have the experience of these guys. And they show all these stats of Arteta, and they put him against all those top managers. The difference is all those top managers won a league. He hasn't. So again, you base your evidence on facts. They've won some. They know how to win it. They know how to get it over the line. So, listen, you look at our defensive record. I mean, listen, over 10 games in all competitions, we've conceded 3 goals and scored 20 goals. So we're doing well defensively. Do you know what I mean? We're doing well defensively. They say defenses win you leagues. Yeah. But with Arteta, you just don't know what you're going to get. Yeah. Because as I said, 3 seasons ago, we was leading it. And then we bottled it. The second season in, we was chasing, we bottled it. And last season, we was nowhere to be found. So this season, yes, it's great. We've gone into the international break, top of the league. My question is, do we have the mentality to stay there? Yeah? Does he know how to make the right choices, the right rotation and that? You can't be chucking on players that just get injured. You chuck them and make it worse. We don't know the extent, whether it's a 1st degree, 2nd degree, or 3rd degree MCL. So depending on the grade of it, we'll find out. I don't know if it's come out yet, but he's obviously got an MCL. We don't know how long it's going to keep us out.
But the thing is with it, though, no. Sorry, no.
No, go ahead.
No, just the thing with the injury is, well, regardless of how bad it is, it might not have been as bad if he hadn't made him go back on twice. He sat down twice before he took him off.
Exactly my point. But he has.
So we'll talk about that in a little bit.
We're going to talk about it. So we will come on to that. But the question is what Shane just said there. He's got a history of doing that. Yeah. So it's not. So listen, it's no surprise that when somebody gets injured, he throws them back on it. We've seen it numerous amount of times. So that's what we're doing. We're just basing stuff on what we have seen. Yeah. What we're saying is now we want to see something different from you. Do something different. Do something different with the team. It was great on Saturday. Yeah. He went with a more attacking, apart from obviously Odegaard gets injured, but at least he went with Eze in the 10, and he played Deckers as a lone 6, but he was sort of pushing up really far up. You know what I mean? Zubamendi comes on, done okay. He done okay.
Yeah, he played well.
But Gyökeres, you know what I mean? Saying DJB's got. I leave DJB to say that because I don't want to get no hate. But listen, but no, Gyökeres, I'm still going to give him time. As I rightly said, listen, we've had our top legends of this club that has taken time for them to get up to speed and whatever. So we're going to have to give him time. I think he's a sort of player. He's not at the levels of Haaland and all of those Harry Kane and that. Yeah. What somebody actually did say is that he would be good against like the teams, not saying the teams that are low, but the teams that are lower down, where you can bulldoze.
Flat trap bully, isn't it?
Flat trap bully. He's a flat trap bully, essentially. He's a flat trap bully. The only thing is if he...
A bit like Andy Carroll was.
Yeah. No! I
waited to get that in, isn't it?
Yeah.
The thing I know.
Look at the grin on his face. Look,
he had a lot of upper body strength. Andy Carroll used to large defenders out the way, didn't he?
The thing is, though, Norms, when Ferguson famously said, "Defense wins leagues, attack wins games," he had Ronaldo, Tevez, and Rooney up front.
Yeah.
And he had just come out of a generation of having Andy Cole, Dwight York, Solskjaer, Sheringham, Beckham, and Giggs and Scholes. You know what I mean? So he let the rest of the what he meant was a good back forward, a goalkeeper wins games, and maybe a holding midfielder, and then you let the attackers do it. He didn't mean 2 banks of 4 and the two forwards tracking around. You know what I mean?
Like, essentially, Shane, a good defense will only ever guarantee you 38 points a season. A good attack can guarantee you maximum points.
But
do you know what I mean? It's
absolutely
as simple as that. But you need a blend of both. And over the last 3 seasons, especially when you go back to the 22-23 season, we didn't really have it in defence, but we had a nice bit of flair and cohesion, and attacking football was good. We didn't have the defence, and all of a sudden we've gone the other way and lost our attack. Not many teams really do have it. Even the Chelsea's, the super defensive, when they had, Terry, and they had Carvalho's, Vieira and Cole, and Essie and Makaleli, Ballack, etc. in front of it. They still had Arjen Robbins and Damien Duffs and Didier Drogba's to win them football matches. Yeah,
perfect balance.
They had a lot of 3 and 4-0s in that run, man. They smashed a lot of teams off the park, man. They smashed a lot. That's a myth that they were really. Any team that lets in like 15 goals, they just instantly assume that they were defending. Just like the Milan team of the early 90s, the Capello team and the Sacchi team. I think they let in, I think it was 14 goals or something one season, and that was it. Oh, and then they went to play Barcelona in the final, and Johan Cruyff famously said, they don't know how to attack. Milan smashed them 4-0. You know what I mean? Hang on, just because when you have Van Basten and the likes in your team, you can't be that defensive. You just can't. You have Van Basten and Hullet in your team. You can't be defensive. Just if you don't let many in. But even when Norms was saying about the stats and stuff they're coming out with, as we just saw, they lie about that one's just made up. That's pull it back up there again, actually, if you can.
Yeah, go on, my friend.
Because this is what they're doing, and this is everywhere. This is everywhere, by the way. This stat is
we'll
everywhere.
get that in a sec, Lawrence, by the way. 2 seconds, bud. Yeah, mate.
City are on 264 and we're on 263. So they're even padding stats. Even stats like that, they're padding. Right? And this is adding in the points this season. So they're just waiting. They couldn't wait for Arsenal to go 5 points
Sky
ahead
Sports
of City.
Also done it and all. Do you know that?
Yeah, but then
I've got another picture of Sky Sports do it. Look, have a little look.
Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not validating that is incorrect. I'm saying
this is the last 3 seasons. Yeah, and it's wrong. You see, this isn't someone superimposed this. You see, that's what I saw on X today. That Sky Sports thing. Someone's doctored that. But even if that was the case, even if Sky Sports are putting it up, I wouldn't put it past them because they reiterated that we have the most points in the 3 years earlier as well. And I was calling Cotterell and stuff out on that next, and they were just deleting it all the time because it's a load of bollocks, man. I've just added it up just to confirm it again. But the last 3 seasons plus this season, City are on 264 and we're on 263. This is what I mean. Like we're the most protected club, protected manager on the planet. On the planet. They all protect them. And it's a madness to me, man. It's a madness to me.
Do you know what? Do you know what worries me? I mean, saying about defensively we're solid. Yeah, fine. Defensively we're solid. But Aaron, mate, I was just going to bring the point up about Chelsea. When you look at the Chelsea team under Marino and Jose, and they were solid. They weren't really a flared team, but they had people that could score goals. They had Lampard scoring goals for fun. They had wingers scoring goals, sort of 10, 12 goals a season, and then they had Drogba.
But in the final third, he let them do what they want to do, though.
Exactly. But he with Drogba, he weren't the most technically gifted forward, but he scores goals. He made things happen. He got on the end of things. He scored goals. And this is why we've bought Gyökeres. We've bought Gyökeres to score big goals. And at the moment, touching on what Normski's saying, I'm not really seeing it. And I don't care about him scoring loads of goals in Sporting and wherever he's been. This is the Premiership now. This is Arsenal Football Club. That's what we've bought him for. And I don't know what everyone else is seeing other than they're hoping that he's going to bag loads and loads of goals. Yeah. Because we've been without a number 9 for so long. They're just like, everything you say about Gyökeres is like, oh, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. But take your Arsenal head off and look at it from a football perspective. He's just not doing it. Because sometimes when things are not happening for forwards, you've got to go and make things happen for yourself. You've got to pick the ball up, run at a defender, get a shot off, make the goalkeeper save, get a corner out of it, perhaps a rebound where someone else can tap it in, make something happen. But he's not even doing that, and I'm just a little bit concerned about where all the goals are going to come from eventually, because there will be a time when we won't be able to nick a 1-0, a 2-0. There will be games when it's going to be like 1-1 or a 2, or we're losing 2-1 and we need a couple of goals. And I just, we're not really flowing. As I said, we're happy, we're getting results, but it's our defensive side that are winning games at the moment. and that can only last for so long, because eventually you've got to get you've got to get the final third as well as the defence firing on all cylinders. You can't just win games on defence alone. It ain't going to happen. So, yeah, I mean, you've got to look at the bigger picture. You can't just keep living in the moment all the time. You have to look at the bigger picture.
That's not sustainable, is it?
That Mourinho team, DJ, scored like 75 goals or something like
that. Oh,
yeah. They only
crazy.
lost one. They only lost one. Like, we've already lost one. So it's silly.
Who was that to Man City, I think, when it was that little Sean Wright Phillips stagger or something like that?
It might have been. I think that's why he signed him.
That was at the ground, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I remember them beating Norwich 4-0 and all, because I was sitting. I remember watching Match of the Day. I remember watching Match of the Day in my mate's house, and because I just come off the Invincible season, I kept thinking that we're going to win the next 6 leagues in a row. That's the way I felt, and I was like, "Hang on, Chelsea aren't losing. They're not losing." And then the next minute they're like 8 points ahead of us. Going, "What's happening here? How is this happening?
Yeah.
This wasn't it. This wasn't part of the script. This wasn't in the script. You know what I mean? It was mad. They were just smashing everybody. They were a brilliant team, man. Brilliant team.
Yeah. Just before I get a couple of these super chats, big up to Captain Guns for the raid over. Big up, brother, and big up to everyone that's come over as well. Smash the likes up, give us a cheeky sub, and don't forget as well, the guys' links are pinned in the chat. So if you're not going to do that for me, please go and do it for them. Some great content creators on the show here, and me, of course. But yeah, we don't mind digging ourselves out. It's all for a bit of fun. And Lawrence. Yeah, man. So for people that don't know in the chat, my old man is a West Ham fan. So yeah, Lawrence is saying here, big up to you, bro. Hope you are well, my friend. Afternoon, Aaron. Bet you've been giving your old man grief after the West Ham game. Well, do you know what? Coincidentally, his phone decided not to work. So he sent me a text this morning. Sorry, Sean. Apparently, my phone is working again now. I don't know how long for or what happened, but I hope everything's okay your end. I was like, yeah. What an apps. I'm not one of your little girls you can just lie to and blow smoke up their ass, Dad. Do you know what I mean? You just didn't have the minerals to answer my phone call, and I know you're listening. You didn't have the minerals to answer, your sausage. But now big up to you as well, Dad. Hope you're well. And Lawrence, of course, man. Hope you're well. Big up the Prome. Cheers for the membership as always, man. Come on, Prome's our geezer. He's been around. He's supporting all the chats as well. You've been in for a while, I'm sure. Yeah, big up, man. And as well, Martin Sapp, big up to you, my geezer. And he's saying big up to Aaron, DJB, Shane and Normsky. See, Suge, this is how you say hello. Take a couple of notes. Do you know what I mean? Martin's probably he's one of the favourites in the chat. He is. Do you know what I mean? Nice, respectful. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I do like a bit of Martin.
Don't let him get to your Suge, mate. You know who the legends are.
Fuck off, D. Whose side are you on? Get out of here. Fucking hell, yeah, that told me, didn't it? Yeah, big up the Prime again as well, who's jumped in with a cheeky comment here. I wanted Timber for Arsenal Player of the Month. I don't actually know if they've announced that or not, but I mean, he's got to be right up there. He's got to get it, Aaron. Just second on Timber, everyone. He's been unbelievable, isn't he, since he's come to this club?
Fantastic.
He's been magnificent, man. He's
our only world-class player, I think.
Yeah, he's definitely the furthest there, isn't he?
I think he's world class. He is world class
on that door. Yeah.
If you're top three in your position, you're world class, and he's the second best.
Shane, and not only that, right? I was speaking the other day. If he can add trophies now, Timber would probably go down as one that we're talking about in years to come, like we do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. He'd be one of the ones in time where you go, would he get in the Invincible team? You go, do you know what?
He would be in that category. Would he make the Invincible team?
Or the all-time if he keeps going the way he is, But he needs a lot of trophies for that to start passing the likes of
him ahead of Dixon because he hasn't won anything yet.
No, Dixon's won everything there is to win, apart from the European Cup, obviously, but he's won everything.
But he's a brilliant player.
If he stays for another 5 years, signs a contract, then sees it out, minimum another 5 years, and we can win a league title, win a couple of cups here and there, minimum, of course. I think then he'll go down as as a legend, but he's got to win something. He has to, He'll always go down if he continues and stays at Arsenal Football Club for another few years. But if he don't win anything, he'll go down as an unbelievable right back, a phenomenal one. But to get that legendary status, I think you've got to be a part of a contributing title winning side.
There is exceptions. There's exceptions. Kenny Sampson would be an exception. He only won a League Cup, but he would get in a lot of people's 11. But when I've been doing the 11, when I've been doing the 11 with people, the majority have gone with Winterburn for the sheer reason of trophies. You know what I mean? Or actually Cole because of trophies. So that normally does hold them back in the end.
Talking of legends.
Talking about legends.
So look at you all celebrating because you won at the weekend. Look, you know what I mean? Are you all Arteta yet or not?
No.
Yeah, mate.
Did he come?
He knows exactly what we need.
Did he come for us? Did he come for us in our show? Did he?
I know, mate. I know.
He's coming
I
for us.
fell asleep halfway through the game, if I'm honest with you.
Well,
What we were saying,
big up
gents.
James, man. Yeah, big up to your brother. What was your assessment of the game? Because I mean, obviously, to be fair, the last couple of times you've come to the Emirates, you've done the business. But
What did I say to you on Friday night? I predict. I literally nailed the scoreline, absolute to the T. I said you score in the first half. I said you'll come out second half. You score again, then it'd be just a 2-0 flat. I didn't think we'd get hammered at yours. I really didn't. I think Nuno's getting them sort of structured a bit better because obviously under Potter it's a fucking nightmare. But no, listen, you've done the job. Simple as that. Like in our fan base at the minute, people are crying and like literally going berserk saying that we're going down. And listen, we're not going to play Arsenal every week. Do you know what I mean? That's for certain. And we didn't have a shot on target because we just couldn't get near. Like there was just two different levels. Arsenal are light years ahead of us, and we're a work in progress. Do you know what I mean? We're in a bit of shit this year, and it's all about staying in the league. So I thought Arsenal were good. I thought, you know what? I'm going to be straight. When Odegaard went off, changed the fucking game. Completely changed the game, mate, because I don't think he was in the game at all. And once he went off, it allowed Rice to go forward, and then eventually he scored, didn't he? And it had to be him. But it was routine for his mate. Routine, really.
He needed that though, I think, Declan at home, because he's actually been quite poor against you boys at the Emirates the last couple of performances. He just hasn't turned up. So I think for him, it's probably good to get that goal for him, you know. To sort of not to say this is my home now, maybe that's a bit too far, but you know, to right a couple of wrongs, because he has been poor against West Ham, and he was taking a bit of stick. I heard as well.
Yeah, but that's the only way. That's the only way we're going to try and stop the geezer. Yeah, because if he gets going, then he's always going to be a good player. Do you know what I mean? I was more happy with us to a point because we didn't get hammered. We didn't collapse when we went 1-0 down. I've known West Ham to go 1-0 down, then we're 3-0 down within 5 minutes. Didn't see that happening. I think the penalty.
It's debatable, isn't it? It's debatable.
Listen, the rules nowadays make no sense really, because 5 years ago, that's a foul outside the box. Right, it's a blatant foul. It's outside the box. As he carries Timber into the box, then it's a pen in the modern day. But I just felt that was a bit mental, really. Like, because if you're just for argument's sake pissing the rain and a player goes sliding on a player and then carries the player into the box, is that a foul and penalty? Like, do you know what I mean? There's so many contrasts to it. But once you got the penalty, poor defending from Diouf, it was literally rattled all day, really. And once he went 2-0, I sat there, I went, right, just don't get hammered. Simple as that. Just don't get hammered. Right, we'll get out of it with a 2-0. And it's a respectful 2-0, really, because it could have been 4 or 5. I'm not saying that you were like all over us and absolute peppering us in the second half, but it was a bit like sort of defend the box, try and get out when you can and see what we can do. And that's it, really, mate, if I'm being honest. Like, that's not West Ham. West Ham right now, and I've been saying it to you boys for the last 3 months. I think we're in trouble this year, and we're in a dogfight, but we ain't going to be judged on Arsenal at home. It will be interesting, but when we play you in the reverse fixture, though, at the ELS. So I think we'll be more ready for that. We'll be more ready under Nuno. And that's actually going to be in the running for you boys. So, you know, Arsenal, West Ham, Arsenal at the ELS under Nuno's reign with a transfer window and all coming through there. It's going to be interesting. But listen, fair play to you, mate. You outplayed us, outclassed us, and was completely the better side on the day.
That's in April, isn't it, James? Sorry, Aaron. That's in April, at London Stadium.
Yes, it's 3 games before the end of the season.
That's what I mean. They're the sort of games that if you are in a title fight, going to West Ham,
and they're in a relegation battle. Do you know
I
what I mean?
turned around.
Relegation battle as well.
I had a few Arsenal fans give me grief on Twitter, and I turned around and said, "Wait till West Ham will be a completely different side come that game." Do you know what I mean? I don't think we're going down under Nuno.
Oh, yeah.
I hope not.
People
I
are
think Nuno-
panicking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
Listen, Nuno will definitely keep you up. I ain't got no worries about that.
Yeah.
I think better a Nuno than Ange. Put it that way.
Or fucking Potter.
Was you a bit disappointed they didn't show a little bit more ambition, though, James? Because I mean, you was on it was a free hit, really, wasn't it? Because no one expected West Ham to get anything out of that game because of the position they're in and all.
Yeah, but the thing is, if we go at you,
I was a little bit disappointed that they didn't really kind of.
I just think it's two different.
Get into us and get going.
Yeah, I just think there's two different levels, mate. Like, you are levels above us, right? And we are like he's been here 9 days, and he's working with 3 different managers, players at the minute, and like we ain't going to be defined. We're just not ready for that right now. Do you know what I'm saying? I was more pleased that the scoreline was respectful because he's got to keep the goals out, like, and he's got to keep the goals down. And like, if we go at Arsenal, you roll a 6. It's as simple as that. Do you know what I mean? You just play around us, play through us, and then that's it. We was caught in a bit of a rock and a hard place. I think we was doing all right up until the goal when Dex scored. I thought like we rode our luck, but we was doing okay. Right, we was everything coming into the box was heading away. Gyökeres was quiet. It was working, and then obviously Eze missed that chance, golden chance. And then when the one fell to Rice, I thought it had to be him to fucking put it in, right? But if we would have got to half time, I think we might have been in the game a little bit. Like, not as in win the game, but not lose the game. Because I thought we was defending pretty well. But obviously the penalty killed us. Because the moment that goes in, 2-0, there's no chance. Do you know what I mean? 1-0 with 20 minutes to go, Arsenal are shaky, right? Because they've been here before.
The nerves.
And the expectation is to go and kill West Ham, right? But we sort of killed ourselves to a point by giving the penalty away. Juve just wasn't his day. Do you know what I mean? Just one of the things.
I think there was 3 players in your team that I was worried about. It was Juve, Somerville, and Jared Bowen. And I was watching your game against Everton. First half, you was terrible. Second half, come out totally different team.
Played really well.
You should have won that game. I mean, the way that Juve that set up that Jared. It was like that guy is amazing. I mean,
he's master, mate.
Guys, I'll tell you what. Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Yeah,
I was a little bit worried, but listen, he didn't show up, so thankfully, yeah.
No, what it was just a bit of us, really. Like with us, we're a team who's got a new manager, and we're up against a very good side. Arsenal are a very good side. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's very hard for me to say, but it is. Do you know what I mean? They're a very good side, and they know what they're doing, and what it is. They got their spine, their team is very good. And I do think, though, when Odegaard went off, it sort of changed it a little bit. It really did, because I noticed it straight away. When he goes off, Rice was pushing further forward, and we sort of stood back a little bit, because we know once he gets the ball, we don't want him to get up above speed. So we'll sit back and sort of allow him to have the ball outside the box. But, you know, it's just
quite anonymous, though, James, before the injuries anyway, Odegaard. I thought he was just doing his thing, you know, just hiding in the shadows. You know what I mean? It's a shame, because I remember watching him on that field, and I thought, you know what, he was really good coming on against Newcastle. I say really good, but he was doing what I expect him to do. But I say really good compared to the shit that I've seen him play for the last 2 years. That's why I'm using them words. And then against Olympiacos, he was decent as well. So when I see him coming in, I thought, well, do you know what? We've got the midfield that I wanted, i.e. Eze and Odegaard. So I was quite sort of a little bit intrigued, a little bit excited to just see if it would pick. You know, like if Odegaard would have that sort of more creative freedom, and the midfield's attacking, you know, and I thought, oh, here we go. Like, something could happen here, you know. And for that 20 minutes before I think he got the initial clash, he was just nowhere again, you know. And I know that's only 20 minutes. People say, oh, we might have grown into the game, but, you know, you've got to be extra sort of thingy on your captain as well, you know. I don't think you can afford to go missing, and, you know, then it sort of brings up all the other things where you think, oh, here we go. He only played well now for a game and a bit. Do you know what I mean? And
we should have scored.
Back.
We should have scored after the first minute, though. That's a free header in the box. Like what it was, we got the corner straight away from kickoff. Corner comes in, and then Forkrew goes up with Gabriel and who was it? I think it was Timber. I think it was. I remember him. He goes up and he headers it over the bar. He headers it on targets in the net, and that's after a minute. And it's a bit of a different scenario. But you know what, mate? It is what it is. And that's what Arsenal have got to do if they want to win the league. Win them games comfortable, clean, and then move on. Do you know what I mean? It's them sort of games where they're going to find it tough. Like Fulham next will be interesting. Arsenal have to go there and make sure that they do the job and win that game clean, like without any problems. Do you know what I mean? Listen, there's no harm in going to a place and winning 1-0. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. 100%, mate. And do you know what? With all due respect, Arsenal, especially at home, are expected to beat West Ham. So you know, we sort of got what we sort of expected really as a 2-0. Would we have wanted a 3 or 4 or 5-0? Of course we would have. Would we have wanted to see more of a clinical sort of in terms of taking our chances? Yes. More free-flowing football? Yes, of course we did. But at the end of the day, it's another box ticked, if you want to look at it from that. It's another game gone. We've managed to put pressure on Liverpool. You probably wouldn't have heard me say this earlier. We didn't put pressure on Liverpool at all at any stage last season. They had a free run to do whatever they want in terms of stamping their authority on the league title. This season, especially last weekend, we see them play first and slip up. Can we capitalise and take the 3 points? Yes, we did on that occasion. And then this weekend, we played first and we got the win against you boys. Comfortable 2-0 win in the end. And it allowed them to have a little bit of pressure, Liverpool, really, for the first sort of time, playing a little bit of catch up for the first time in 15, 16 months. So, yeah, look, I'll take 2-0 wins every day of the week. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's just get that absolutely right. You would, wouldn't you? You'd take 1-0 wins, because you're getting the 3 points on the board. But yeah, I just do want to see us play a little bit more freely. Keep Mikel Arteta hopefully keeps playing a positive lineup as opposed to, the bloody Mikel Merino midfield of death. You know what I mean? With Zubimendi and Rice, that's never going to win your titles. But yeah. It'd be
a different game. It'd be a different game at the LS. Because what it is with Nuno, it'd be more competitive game at the LS because by the time we get to that game, West Ham will be more drilled in how he wants to play. Do you know what I mean? He's just come in, and you know what? We're a bit of a mess at the minute, big time. And I'm not worried about relegation as yet. Do you know what I mean? The next 2 games will decide it for me. If West Ham fails to beat Brentford and Leeds, then I think we're in serious trouble. But have
you got Brentford at home, James? Sorry to cut you.
We've got Brentford at home. Brentford at home, Leeds away, Newcastle at home, Burnley at home. So we've got some big games coming up. We need to at least I want 4 points from the next 2 minimum. I don't think that's too much to ask. Leeds is on a Friday night, which is one of the worst games you can have on Sky. You know what I mean? Going up to Ellen Road at any time's hard, but going up there on a night game is going to be fucking tough. So we just need 4 points, and then we'll go from there. What do you make of old Ricey's celebration?
Yeah, I think it was a little nod to the away end, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Do you know
but
what?
it wasn't too extreme. At
I
the end
thought
of
he
the
was
day,
class, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, I'm going to be straight, yeah. I think that was just him to say that I'm not going to, even though you're barracking me, I'm not going to be disrespectful because he obviously knows Mark Noble. Right, he's obviously in contact with Noble. Noble's like a family friend. And he ain't going to do it. Listen, we're not all like that when it comes to Deck. But with me personally, because I can only speak for myself, he helped us win a trophy. I would have liked him to stay another year, but he didn't. I don't like the constructive of the move, how it happened in January to up to when Arsenal signed him. That's the only thing I will say on that, because it felt like he was out the door, but he was out the door sort of 6 months beforehand. Do you know what I mean? And not like playing all the way to the end. Do you know what I mean? In his mind, he was like, I'm going. But he still played half decent for West Ham. He didn't play well in the final. Right? I keep getting this from Arsenal fans. He won you the trophy. No. Bowen won us the trophy. Deck just picked the trophy up. He was he was poor in the final against Fiorentina. Do you know what I mean? So listen, I've always got respect for Declan Rice. Always have, always will do, because he's a young lad. I was gutted when he left. I think he's developing into a top quality box to box player. I do stay though. I think he's one of the best 6s in the world. For me personally, I think you put him as a 6. I don't think he's another Rodri for me. But we did notice it the other day when he picks the ball up and he goes forward. Now looks more sort of deadly. When he's set pieces, also very fucking good. Do you know what I mean? So he's getting better.
Yeah. Do you know what I said about Declan Rice before one of the other boys come in? If he gets injured, like Odegaard, who we're going to talk about next, I'll get some super chats and then we'll move on to Odegaard. But if Declan Rice gets injured, there isn't a replacement. And I know it's hard to replace these top players, but I mean, in terms of similar attributes, if he goes out and gets injured, and he got injured, but it's apparently nothing, by the way, you know, I think he's fully fit. I think he's gone with England. If Declan Rice gets England for injured for a prolonged period, we've got no one anywhere near resembles his qualities in the midfield. Zubamendi doesn't have or possess the qualities that Declan Rice does. Neither does Norgard. You know, so it is a little bit of a worry for me that we've got a manager that will happily run players into the ground and also increase the chances of injury via, I'm injured, no, you stay on the fucking field. No, dude, I'm actually injured. No, you stay on the fucking field. Okay, now my 2-week injury's turned into a 6. Well done, Mikel Arteta. If he gets injured, Declan Rice, yeah, I sort of fear for us, because if we're to win something, I think he's going to have to be at the centre of all of them big games for Arsenal Football Club, because we just haven't got anywhere near a replacement for that player. You know, no one that can get up and down the pitch with athleticism and be able to win them excellent slide tackles and interceptions and be at one end of the box making a run, and then be at the other end of the pitch clearing a header out like a centre back. You know, we haven't got that. So I do sort of hope of anyone that he can stay fit out of Arsenal Football Club. He's become quite important for us, I think, and for us going forward winning trophies. I reckon, yeah, he's going to be at the centre of quite a lot of it. I don't know what you boys think.
Yeah, I mean, we all know when Marino and Zubamendi play together, the midfield's pretty much non-existent. It's safe, and Marino might get on the end of something, but going forward, that can't be for many games. Might get away with the odd 1 or 2 games, but going forward, that ain't going to win you the title. What I've seen from Zubamendi against West Ham, when he had time on the ball, when he weren't really getting pressed in midfield, he looks $1 million. He looks brilliant. The problem is, I've seen him in the 6 up at St James's Park, moments against Man City and stuff like that, when he hasn't had time, when he hasn't got the time on the ball. He's making sloppy passes. He's making rash decisions. He's getting bundled off the ball. He's losing possession far too easy. So that has got to improve on his side of the things. For me, he's not strong enough for a 6. It could be that he plays more of an advanced role, and I've always said I'm with James on this, and James knows him better than me because he was, West Ham. I've always said he was in the 6. Kenny reckons he's not a 6. I said he's better in a 6. But yeah, so it is going to be a worry if Declan Rice gets injured. And we keep hearing about squad depth. Well, if Rice gets injured, you'll know all about our squad depth. That's all I'm saying.
It is a massive drop when you take if you take him out. Who are you replacing him with? Norgard. Who else is there? Really?
Exactly. It's Marino and Zubamendi, isn't it? And that's a worry.
Yeah.
When Zubamendi come on, like you said, he changed the game. He looked all right, to be fair, Zubamendi, but he is not that guy. He's not that lone 6.
Yeah, but what it was, Aaron, you pushed Deck forward, and that's what made it better, because Odegaard wasn't doing nothing. Like, when I was sitting there watching it, obviously I'm writing a few things down. And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, please stay on the pitch, because you're not doing nothing for us. Like you're not hurting us. Like, he's picking the ball up and he's playing the ball wide, but we was reading what he was doing. The moment he went off and you pushed Deck forward, because that's where the goal come from Deck running into the box. And that's where Odegaard should have been. But no, listen, I've always said with Rice, against good teams, like good teams, you stick him as a 6, he'd be one of the best. He's one of the best. I think he's one of the best 6s in the world, behind Rodri. I think. Like, I just don't see him as a. Like, I think it's horses for courses also. Like whatever games you play, if you're playing a game like Fulham away, yeah, expose him, let him go as an 8. If you're playing Manchester City away, I think you put him as a 6 and you use him like for that sort of area. Do you know what I mean? And you play Eze as an 8 or something. Do you know what I mean? So, you know,
yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, no, facts 100%, mate. That's always going to be then down to the manager. Has he got the tactical nous to be able to make them decisions? Horses for courses. I was saying a similar thing about Odegaard before he got injured. You know, you can play attacking 8s with all due respect, James, against the lower teams at home. You know, if you can't play it against a struggling West Ham team at home and attack in midfield, when are you going to play it? Because you're definitely not going to be playing it in the Manchester Cities and the Liverpools and the Newcastle fixtures. So, you know, I'm at least glad he's not finally learned it, because there's only been a couple of games that he's done it in, but at least he's just trying it now. But it's took him, this is 7th season. It's finally took him 7 seasons to go, oh, I've got an attacking midfield here. Maybe I'll actually stop fucking playing them. Like, it's mad that you have to wait 7 years to learn that basic lesson, you know? Bring an attacking midfielder on. It's not hard, is it? Oh, maybe we'll attack more. Big up, Tone. How you doing, bud?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, no, not too bad. Happy after a cheeky little comfortable win. But aside from that, yeah, everything's all good. We're gonna win the league now, apparently, you know, because we're top after 7 games. So it's all rosy in the garden, apparently. But yeah, like I said, mate, big up. Hope you're all good, and cheers for coming on.
No, cheers, mate. And good evening to all the gents.
Before we move on to Odegaard, what did you make of the game and West Ham and a couple of other bits before we go on to Odegaard's injury?
I didn't see much of it. I was actually away, so I only picked up on certain bits and pieces. But I put my prediction down as being a 2-1 to use guys. I thought it would be a bit of a close game, but looking at it, I think Juve giving away the penalty. It would have been even closer, really, 1-0, if that. And I think James, he mentioned it. I think we had a chance of probably getting one back as well. So maybe 1-0 would have been a decent result again for Nuno and West Ham. But for you guys, obviously a dent in the armour. But to come out 2-0 in that, and obviously I think it's 300th Premier League win or something, some record Arteta's got now. So obviously the Arteta in fans and that are obviously creaming their pants, no doubt.
Yeah, it's all squidgy in their boxes, mate. Don't worry about that. Yeah, Jim from American Pie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Do you think that you can win the league though, like now, right? Because being top, and when you look at the game, I agree it is too early. But look, when you look at the games you've played City at home, Liverpool away, Newcastle away, like I think the next international break, if Arsenal are top after the next international break, then I think it could be on. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, it is early, but I look at the teams around. The only team that I would fear for Arsenal is City. And the reason being is City are a sort of team that will go and win 5 in a row and not lose a game. Do you know what I mean? And they've done it so many times. I don't know what it is with Liverpool. They just can't get going, which is good for you. But that's the only team. If I was to have a bet, right, Man City is the one where I look at them and I think if they pick up, win, and they're a sort of team that will go and win games and just brush them aside. Do you know what I mean? I remember a few years ago when they was winning games and they're always a second half season. They are City every single time.
I think we just coming here. I think the only thing with City, I think the only thing with City, I was saying it when I do my show on Wednesday, that with Haaland sort of scoring goals left, right, and centre. The only thing is, if they lose Haaland, I'm not saying they're a one-man team, but he's contributing so far in all comps, so 18 goals so far this season. So, he's scored 8 or 9 in the Premier League. So if he was to go injured, how will Man City cope without him? Because he's like their main goal scorer. But the other thing as well, with Liverpool, I think they're trying to adjust and everything. But I think for Arsenal, I think Shane said it. Look, the next 5 games, if we win those next 5 games, and after the next international break, we won those games convincingly, then we might have a conversation. But we have to always look back on history, because I remember the season when we was 8 points clear, and Lee Guns was ready to get the bubbly out and everything. and they duly let us down. So, you know, as they say, it's not over until the very large lady sings. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Listen, it's good that we're top of the league. We've got supposedly the best squad in the Premier League, if not in Europe. So there is an expectation, but you just know this club. You know Arteta. You know it's about whether he can mentally do it, and because he's not been there and done it and got us over the line, that's why in the back of my mind I'm just thinking to myself, until you that last two games and we a decent amount ahead of the rest of the guys, then I might start to dream. But for now, we just take it game by game, but make sure that the games that we got coming up, we keep the pressure on Liverpool. You know, Man City are right behind us, only 3 points behind us, so we can't afford to slip up. Just can't afford to slip up.
I look at I look at them 5. Right, as a betting man, I look at Fulham away is going to be hard for Arsenal because it's a bit like West Ham. They've lost there the last 2 times, ain't they? They've been there. If I've got that right,
2-1 and 1-1, I think.
Yeah. Because I remember a few years ago you lost against us, and you lost against Fulham in like a space of like 4 or 5 days. I think that's a tough game because I think Fulham are a bit of like Marmite side. You either like them or you don't, and they're up and down. I expect you to roll Palace out the ground. I expect you to beat Burnley about 4-0, I reckon. Sunderland's going to be interesting because Sunderland are in a bad side at home. Trust me, we got hammered against them at the start of the season, and with like 50,000 Mackhams there going berserk. That's the sort of game where Arsenal could slip up and draw the game. Do you know what I mean? In like recent past, they should go there and win. They should win comfortable. But you know, and then obviously the big one, North London derby, which is like a toss of a coin, isn't it? Let's be real.
Yeah. I don't know about you as well, Shane. Like in terms of like Arsenal and believing we could do it. I know instantly your answer is probably going to be until I see him lift the trophies. Oh, he actually isn't here, so I'll bring this to DJB. Yeah, you probably won't believe Arsenal can win it until you actually see him lift it. However, is there a stage, like basically what James was asking, is there a stage, you know, in the league where, you know, say you're down to the last 8 games and we're 5 points ahead, you know, will you start believing then, or is it still just a case of, nah, we've got to be almost mathematically possible before we start sort of believing that we can do it? What do you reckon?
Well,
is there a stage in the season where you
I think the biggest difference. I think the biggest difference this season, we've got options off the bench. If you look at our bench on certain games, well, take for instance West Ham last season compared to this season, the bench to players to come off to change games is a lot better. So we've got that in our locker now, that we have got players to come off the bench and hurt teams at certain moments. I always said that if we're going to have a chance with this squad of winning the league, we've got to see where we are sort of come the end of January. If we come to the end of January going into February in the spring, sort of 5, 6, 7 points clear this time round, with the squad we've got, providing they're all fit, then I'll probably be getting a little bit more excited. But at the moment, 7 games in, no, not just yet. But as I said, going into February, 5, 6 points clear. Bearing in mind that we've been to Anfield, we've been to Old Trafford, we've played City at home.
Newcastle away is a real tricky game.
We've been to St James Park. We've got one of the North London derbies out the way as well. So if we're there or thereabouts with the squad we've got, I don't think that we will bottle the league this time round. However, it is Arteta, and he can do some mad things. You know, he could bring Havertz in the team. He could put him as our regular striker. You just don't know. Because he's not.
Do you know what as well, D? Yeah. Sort of like what James said, with Manchester City, especially in the second half of the season, usually they go on an animal run. Arsenal haven't put a proper run together.
No, we haven't.
Since 2 years ago, really. At the end of the season, we put a decent one. We've got to use this as an opportunity, haven't we, D?
It's a massive opportunity. It is a massive opportunity because City are not the City of of old. I mean, Pep's kind of, City are not the City like they were 2 seasons ago, even though they're still a very, really, really good side. So you can't write them off. But you can't write Liverpool off at the moment. But then,
do you know what as well? Go on, sorry, Dee.
you can't write Liverpool off at the moment because they've had winners. And the thing is when you've won titles and you've got players that have won World Cups and stuff like that, they know how to turn it around very, very quickly. We haven't got that in our team yet. I mean, I think there's only decks that have kind of won anything. So we haven't got that in our team at the moment. So when the pressure's on, and in those big game moments that count, we've got to prove that we can get over the line because we haven't done it in the past. We haven't done it in the past.
I think it's the reverse fixtures and all. City away, Liverpool at home. If you don't lose them games, you win the league.
Yeah,
and Chelsea away and all, because obviously that's a bit of a banana scheme.
We've got Spurs away; they're a different animal this season.
Yeah, and Spurs away, right? So I think the second part of the season, right? If Arsenal are there or thereabouts, if they go to them places, they must not lose the game. Even a draw's a good result if they're a few points clear. Do you know what I mean? Preferably they should go there and try and win the game. I was going to ask you, all you Arsenal boys, something as it goes. If it comes to January, would you expect the board to go out and invest to make sure that you do get over the line in this situation, or not?
Come on, boys, one of you can take it up in what
I think. I mean, just before DJ comes in, I think with the sort of amount of money we've spent and the investment that we've got into the squad, and unless we've got real serious injuries to key players, if we go into January and we've got most of our players, I don't really see the board investing because we haven't got no players going off to AFCON or anything. I don't think we've got any African players in if I remember rightly. I might be wrong. I don't see. I mean, it could be one of those mad things like, if come January and we're I don't know, because what can you add? Because you've got Gok. Listen, I hope Gok's by then finds his feet. You've got Kai Havertz coming back. You've got Gabriel Jesus coming back. We've got a big squad. I just can't see us unless if we happen to lose maybe one of the players that's one on the fringes and we get somebody else in. That's probably the only way, just to make up the numbers. But other than that, I think we've got a big enough squad. It's just about whether we can keep them fit. Because you might have a situation, an unlucky situation where somebody gets injured for the rest of the season. Then they might have to go and dip in the market. That's when Arteta or Berta will say, look, we're that close, guys. Just give us that player to get us over the line. I still think we need a left winger. I still think we need a left back, but he's gonna stick with those players. We know that already. But
do you know what, Norms? It's like go on, sorry, bud. It's like if a Kvaratskhelia-esque player becomes available, you've got to be serious about getting them because that player for PSG, all right, he didn't single-handedly do it, but he made a big old difference and a big impact coming into that PSG side. And he won them games and he scored big goals, especially in their Champions League run. So if a player like that becomes available for Arsenal Football Club in that right position, I don't want us to go on. We've spent loads of money in the summer, so this and all of that and all this. I want you to go and do it. If we, like I said, he's not coming, but just for namesake, like a Rodrigo, all of a sudden was just to be totally ousted, and he said, "Right, I'm leaving. I've put in a transfer request." I expect Arsenal to be front runners for that signing, or at least put the bid down, and not a silly little Ollie Watkins £30 million bid. I expect us to put a serious bid.
It does change also morale and all, because if you do go and sign a big hitting player, the fan base is up for it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Reyes, had it. When we won the league, when we signed Reyes in the winter, we were all buzzing. We thought, wow, we got this geezer. He's awesome, young Spanish lad, and he made his mark straight away. It does give a team a bit of like a boost, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? So to answer your question, I believe like we should be open to doing the right business. If there is a left winger out there for left winger's sake, and you're spending 50-60 million, then maybe not. But there's no point in lobbing money away for bang average players, or we're just going to complain about in 6 months' time. But if there is an opportunity, market opportunity, as Lee would say, you've got to be taking it. The big teams do. The big teams do with ambition. They take them opportunities. And, who's to say that couldn't be the difference if we was to sign someone like that? But hopefully the squad's good enough anyway. Do you know what I mean? We've spent a lot of bloody money on it over a long period of time. I think a good manager would win the league with this team. I really do. So yeah, no excuses, man. Absolutely no excuses. What's your sort of thoughts on it, on that, Shane? I know you've been out a little bit. We're basically sort of saying, and I'll re-ask the question to you: is there any part of the season, apart from, I know what you're going to say, you're probably going to say, until we lift that trophy, is there any stage in the season or scenario in the season where you'll believe maybe 5 games to go that we'll win the league if we're 5 points ahead? Or are you literally, nah, I need to believe it when I see it?
No, for me, it's not about results for me to be convinced by him. It's him learning from his mistakes, which I've never seen him learn from his mistakes. I need to see. There has been little hints starting Rice in the 6 at the weekend and playing with 2 attacking midfielders. But as soon as the injury came, he went straight back to type. He went back with a holding midfielder and he put Rice into the 8. I'm not with Kenny Kane on Rice being an 8. I think as a 6, he's in the top 5 in the world. As an 8, he's not in the top 20 in the world. So it's pointless to me playing him in the 8. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I know he had his heart set in Zubamendi, and we know how stubborn this guy is. But I'm seeing all these things. Zubamendi should be player of the month and all. He's been dog shit apart from the West Ham game. He's been terrible, right? And everything that we said about him, he'd be great against the smaller teams and he has space on the ball. I thought he'd be better against Olympiacos. He was even worse against them. But, he's got to pass on him. If you give him time, he's got to pass him. West Ham sat back. But no, for me, to have any belief in this manager, I have to see him, rotate properly. He hasn't. Rice's back is gone again. I know it's not serious, but it will be soon. His back was at him last year. You know what I mean? The Odegaard thing. Yeah, the Odegaard thing with it was a contact injury. Okay, but he sat down. You made him play on. He sat down again, and then you took him off. He's done this we've gone through the list of them over and over and over again. It's why I call him Mikel Bundy. The guy is he's a psychopath. He is a psychopath. He pushed Partey back on the field, physically pushed him back on with a hamstring.
That's right. Yeah. Remember that one.
Saliba did his ankle in against Liverpool. Sure, we'll risk him. Why not just risk him? This is Gabriel Saliba. Then he admits before the Newcastle game that he's injured. Words it like it's a new injury. No, it's the same one that you played him on, the same one you rushed him back from. Then he brings him on at halftime. Then he plays him against Port Vale. Like, the guy is a fucking lunatic. And the thing is, the same injuries will happen. Saka will go down at some point again in the near future, I might add. Right? Rice will go down at some point, probably around Christmas. And when he goes down, everything falls apart because Zubamendi's getting found out. Even with Rice doing extra running to cover for him, he's making him look pretty, man. You know what I mean? He's doing all the work to make him look pretty. When Rice goes down, Zubamendi gets found out. Eze suddenly has to track back all the time. Everything falls apart when he goes out of the team because he's doing everybody's work in there. He's making it easier for the centre backs as well. He's a big part of the clean sheets. Rice is doing everything, man. So and this guy, well, he doesn't seem to look at that and go, okay, well, if he goes, the whole squad falls apart. You know what? I'll bring him on against Port Vale anyway. I'll bring him on for half an hour. He shouldn't have even travelled with the squad. He should have been told, sit at home, put your feet up, watch it on TV. What are you even doing here? Even the traveling, even when you've run around like that and then you warm down and then you're sitting on a couch and you know what I mean? And with his back and with everything, just like I've said before, this manager, he will be the reason that we don't win the league. It's literally, it'll come back to him. And we've seen it time and time and time. He will self-destruct at some point. He'll do another play Havertz in midfield. He's already let it slip in a press conference when he said, "Oh well, I didn't have Odegaard and I didn't have Havertz." If Havertz comes back before Odegaard, he's in the 10. He's going in that 10.
Shane, do you reckon teams know this though with Arteta, like Liverpool and Man City? That's why they're not really that sort of concerned, really. Like they know that.
They know what he's like. They know what he's like. Like I've been picking his lineups and getting very, very close most weeks if I can do it. You know, and then there's people saying, like one lad that does be quite prominent on X. He's Arteta out, and when Odegaard had that collision, he tweeted at that exact time. He said he's going to have to play on, sit down, then he'll have a word with him, then he'll sit down again, then he'll take him off. He predicted everything that would happen, and he's going, if we know this, how can Arteta not see that he's going to make him play on? So Saka, to me, He hasn't been the same since he rushed him back. He rushed him back 3 months early from an injury. Let's just add that in. 3 months early from an injury. That's a 6-month recovery. He was 3 months, not even 3 months less. Rushed him back. He played on adrenaline. Hasn't been the same. He doesn't look the same.
He doesn't look like he's walking right either, does he?
He doesn't even look
running. Yeah.
But the whole thing now is viral that he's limping all the time at the end of every match. And Arteta has him wearing it like a badge of honor now. He has him wearing it like a badge of honor. Of course I'm going to play on. I'm going to play on. Me. This guy's a lunatic. Did you see his excuse for the injuries, Arteta? He is a psychopath. He opened with this, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's pretty spot on to what he said. He said, "Oh well, you know, sometimes a player he could have an injury, and I just want to put my finger in, right? Whatever that means. I just want to put my finger into it, whatever that means. But that isn't even the word for it." Eddie said, "I can find out 3 months later that they've had a fight with their wife, and they haven't slept for 3 days, and then they get injured." That was his explanation for injuries. And I'm not
they're having a Barney with his wife.
He says,
and his fingers in somewhere where it shouldn't.
Yeah, I'll find out 3 months later that they've had an argument with their wife and they haven't slept for 3 days, and then they get injured. So he's putting their personal life into it. The only player in that squad that he should not notice hasn't slept for 3 days is Trossard, and that's just because he looks like he hasn't slept for 3 days all the time. If you have a player that hasn't slept for 3 days,
this is true, yeah.
If you have a player that hasn't slept for 3 days, how do you not know? Do you know what I mean? Tony Adams said that when he was going off the drink when Wenger came in, he said he used to go into his office for an hour after training every day, and they talk about philosophy, his life, whatever it was. They all still talk about him like he's a father figure. This lad, he has no empathy because he's a psychopath, so he won't see when players are having problems. He doesn't care. He can't register that they might be having a personal problem.
I've said it myself, Shane, on my shows and that. I've said, you know, Saka's not been the same since the injury, and I think he's going to be more. If anything, it'd be amazing that he lasts the whole season with you guys.
Oh, he's gone.
Because this manager will play him, and that hammy is just going to get worse and worse. He ain't going to recover from it.
He played him for 90 minutes against West Ham. Why? Yeah, and then all the Arsenal fans go, "Oh, Tuchel's taking Rice," well, he has every right. If this lad's playing them every minute that he can, well, then the England manager is well within his rights to take him. If he was managing their minutes. If he was managing their minutes and he took Rice off after 60 and he only brought Saka on for 30, then Arteta would be in his rights to go, "Listen, mate, I just don't think they're quite ready yet." But if he's playing them straight through, then Tuchel's going to go, "Well, I can use them. Then you're using them. You haven't been protecting them. Why can I protect them?" You know what I mean? So they have no right to get up in arms about it. You know what I mean? That they want to play for their country. I really thought that he told Rice to go down and hold his back. That's what I was thinking. So he could say, "Look, I can't play for England." Yeah, I mean, I thought that he was like, "Here, go down and hold your back at the end of the West Ham game there." You know what I mean? I thought he was shrewd enough, and then he let him go. But look, you know, the injuries will come. And the funny thing is, people talk about squad depth and, you know, I get pelted as an ex. "Oh, yeah, you wanted these injuries. That's why you kept saying it in the summer." No, I just predicted them because I can see what's coming. We can all see what's coming. Yeah. Saka will be in and out. And like I said, and I don't want to keep going on about it, Rice will go down. Gabriel will go down at some point. Saliba will go down at some point. These top gunners don't see this shit, man. You know what I mean? Look at City in their game. Their two most informed players, apart from Haaland, were Bernardo Silva and Doku. He rested them. You know what I mean? Even though they're informed, he rested them. You don't rest players when they're about to drop. You rest them early in the season. You wrote two players a game.
And the Christmas period is massive because obviously that's
where he's going to fall apart.
James. There was a stat, and it's annoying that I haven't still got it, but it was like over the last 3 years, like mainly talking about your first team players. And it was like, I think it was like at one stage of the season, 3,000 minutes for all the Arsenal players on average on the first 11s. And Manchester City's, most of their big hitters were like 1,800, 210. We're talking, you know, some of them have played half less football because of the rotation.
That's
the difference right there.
Yeah, what it'd be when City go through a team, they start getting rid of all their players off. Whereas Arsenal, Arteta doesn't do that. One thing I want to go back to is what Shane said just a minute ago about mistakes that Arteta's made. He's got to correct the mistakes. What's the mistakes, Shane, he's got to correct?
Well, rotation's a massive one.
Yeah.
Rotation's a massive one. Killing teams off. Every single time, no matter who we're playing, Port Vale, whoever it is, as soon as we take a 1-0 lead, he locks up for 15 minutes. It's a guarantee, minimum 15 minutes, he'll lock up. We can be playing a team. I always refer to Ipswich last season, one of the worst games we've ever played. You would have been there, DJB, at the Emirates, the 1-0. It was horrendous, right?
Terrible.
But we took the lead after about 60 odd minutes, I think, and they hadn't got out of their half. They're never going to even bother. But the second we scored, they started getting their first shots on target and stuff like that because, we better lock up now. So he needs that. Substitutions, I don't care if they got a few lucky goals with the substitutes coming on. The substitutions are always like for like, terrible. Being more ballsy against lower teams. Don't be starting 2 defensive midfielders against a lower team at home. What's the point? They're only going to lock up. But see, the problem is with this, we always have conversations, we could win a league if this, and this happens. But they're always stuff that we know for certainty that he won't change. They're always things that we know that he won't change. And
Ifs
killing
and
off
hopefully,
games
isn't
is
it?
a big one, man. Killing off games is a big one.
Bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But there's just, he's too stubborn and he's stuck in his ways. He's got PTSD from 22, 23. And, a big one again would be learning how to get more out of attacking players. He's never got any. He hasn't improved a single attacking player since he's been at Arsenal. Yeah. Not a single one has he improved. He's made them all worse. If anything, you look at Eddie Howe, man. Voltermater was nobody wanted him. He's looking like a world beater already. That chap's looking like a world beater already. You know what I mean? If he was with us, he'd be shit. And if Gyökeres is at Newcastle, he'd have 6 or 7 goals, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I said Gyökeres would look bang average. If he doesn't change,
he said he wouldn't get 15.
If he doesn't change his system and doesn't change the way he plays, Gyökeres look bang average. And I'll be honest with you, he does. You have to admit that. I mean, West Ham tied him up, and he didn't really. He weren't a threat at all. He weren't a threat at all. And the thing is, again, no, sorry, mate. James said about what he has to improve. He's in game management when he's under pressure, not when he's cruising. Not when he's cruising. When he's under the pressure. And I'll go back to the PSG second leg.
Oh,
should have changed it. Kept Martinelli. I said put Martinelli down the middle. Put Odegaard in the 8. Make something different. We've never won the Champions League. We're going out anyway. We've got PSG. We're not, we need a goal. Do something different. Change it. And he kept the same system in place. And that's my biggest fear. It's when we need those 3 points, or when we need 3 points to go 6 points clear in April or something like that, or quarter-final, semi-final. And it's them moments, that 20-minute spell when you need a change. Yeah. That's what he doesn't do, and that's what the top managers have. Yeah. Sometimes it don't come off.
You can put it across the board, though, can't you? Yeah, you can put it across the board, though, with him. And I've said this sort of phrase time and time again. If he either doesn't learn, or it takes him way too long to learn these things. As I said, 7 seasons in, and he's only just started to rotate players.
Yeah.
Look, and you can't just say, because he didn't have the squad. Well, he still had players on the bench regardless. He never turned up with one geezer on the bench, did he, for the last 6.5 years? Do you know what I mean? It's unacceptable. He's just refused to use the squad that he either re-signed or purchased, by the way. So that's another excuse people can't use. They were all his signings. So it's ridiculous. But it all stems down to earn your money, Mikel Arteta. Yeah. Earn that £15.6 million a year. Like we're saying about management and squad management, they're poor. He's a first-team manager after he got promoted from coach. All right, so what do you manage then? Because you can't man-manage. That's horrendous. We've got plenty of examples of that, namely Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. The man management of that man was probably about as pathetic as you can see. And then your squad rotation, like what Shane's saying, the squad rotation is only just starting to come to terms with one of the most basic managerial facets of all time. And he's on £15.6 million a year, and he's only just scratching the surface with subbing a player every now and then. He also waits too long to change the games. Man, last season, boys, we were trying to get a draw, come back to try and maybe get a draw in some of the games, from drawing to a winning position. And he's bringing on Calafiori and things like that. You're thinking, what are you doing here? You're trying to go for a game and you're bringing 2 centre-backs on. Well, what are you playing at? He can't recognise talent ID. He's fallen into place with some players, i.e. Ethan Nwaneri, he lucked out with him and then binned him off for no reason. Miles Lewis-Skelly lucked out with him, binned him off for no reason. ESR binned him off. The only reason he ain't binned off Bukayo Saka is because Bukayo Saka fucking carried him for 5 years. Let's just get that right. Without Bukayo Saka, Mikel Arteta's nothing. That guy has got him out of jail time and time and time again. It's just a little bit frustrating. It takes him way too long to learn. And I'm sorry, we get it from other rival fans as well, and they're like, oh, we're still inexperienced. Piss off. I think he's either second or third longest serving Premier League manager. And he's been in, it's his 7th season. When's he gonna go from inexperienced manager to experienced Premier League manager? He was there 2-3 years ago. Like, what we all playing at? It's just all similar excuses.
They baby-proof it for him, though, Aaron. Like, Semiu they baby-proof it for this guy. The media protect him like he's something special. Semiu said 2 weeks ago, Arteta's just learning now. When he finally learns how to rotate, really? What do you mean when he learns how to rotate? Oh, so now he's just playing players. This guy, because he's one of the guys he's one of the reporters that just licks his arse and protects him. When he learns how to rotate, I mean, when you I've used this example. Like, I worked in Tesco when I was 16, man. A summer job. You go and do the fruit and veg part. They go, oh, did you rotate? Oh, what's that? Well, you just take the old stuff out and you put. All right, done. Oh, you don't need training for it. It's done. Okay, yeah, now I know. All right, so when that one. I mean, the excuses are made for him. Oh, even like that stat that's going around, the most points. They just reiterate his lies. You know what I mean? This guy, the first time I met DJB on the stream, we were backstage, and the first thing we said to each other was, have you ever seen a manager this protected in your life? I said, no, never. Never in my life have I seen. He's called a genius. He's called a craziness, man. A genius that can't learn how to rotate in 7 years. And he's still not doing it right, by the way. This isn't rotation. This is okay. Well, he's injured, so he can't play. So I'll put this guy in. This isn't rotation. This isn't showing up and going, and you go, oh, where's Saliba? Oh, he's got an arrest today. There's none of that. Like, this is just, well, Gabriel is injured, so he's not in the team. That's not rotation. Rotation is, like I said, Doku and Bernardo Silva out just for the sake of it. Just because I think we can take them here. Some of it's tactical with Pep, of course. You go, well, I'll put in Savinho today because I think, he's going to feed more crosses into Haaland, and I think that their centre backs aren't good with, there is that part of it. But that's another thing. He's never changed his tactics to suit a team. And I understand people say if you're the best team, they should be changing their tactics to suit you. But it's not like that anymore because there's all these low blocks and all these other things like that.
Guardiola did for Holland, Shane, didn't he? He was playing with a false 9 after Aguero, changed the false 9 with Jesus, and then changed this as well.
The quickest start ever for a striker in the Premier League, the amount of goals he got. So it didn't even take time. He just said, right, he's the best striker in the world. This is the way he runs. So you lot adapt to him, not the other way around. You know what I mean? So like that, he just doesn't learn. And then there's things that he doubles down on out of spite. Playing the 3 fridges in midfield, the Marino, Rice and Zubamendi midfield that he was getting shit for the next 3 games. He did it on purpose because people gave him shit about it, so he doubled down on it to prove a point. So he will cut off his nose to spite his face, and that's, you can't win leagues that way. I always refer back, then I'll finish on this, I always refer back to Peter Schmeichel falling out with Alex Ferguson. They nearly came to blows. Ferguson was going to sell him. Then he overheard him apologizing to the team, and he went, right. And Peter Schmeichel says, we never talked about it again. I just came into training the next day. He'd already said he's going to sell him. Came into training the next day, and we just moved on like men. Where he'll hold a grudge with Nwaneri, he'll hold a grudge with. He doesn't like players that are too popular. He doesn't. Yeah, and then, like I said, he doubles down. So not only does he not learn, he doubles down. He's a spiteful man. So for me, I think we have the best squad in the league. He's a child. And we have the best squad in the league, but we don't have the best 11 in the league because we only have one world class player. Where Liverpool have 2 or 3 and City have 2 or 3. But we have the best squad. But with a different manager, I'd put us probably as favourites for the league. If we had a Mancini or a Conte or a Flick or something like that, I go, right, but now we're favourites for the league. But with this guy, he'll find a way to self-destruct. He always would, every single time.
Yeah.
If he self-destructs this year, then it's yeah.
James, it's more likely to happen now. Again, I always use this analogy. It's like how the bookies, they use the same logic, obviously more in depth, but they go on historical events over a set period of time to come out with an equation of the most likelihood. We're doing the same thing as us Arsenal fans. We're going, well, 19 consecutive competitions failed. Obviously, he's entered 4 more this season, but they haven't came to their climax just yet. But we've seen Bottle 4th place, Bottle 8-point lead, Bottle 5-point behind, close it to a 2 gap, make a bad mistake, and then completely bottle the whole entire title race, really, from match day 1 last year to match day 38. We weren't in that title race, not even once. So when we're sort of saying, we don't think it's going to happen for Mikel Arteta. It's not because we woke up out of the bed, scratched our ass, had a little burp, went into the fucking toilet, brushed our teeth, and then thought, do you know what? Fuck Arsenal when Mikel Arteta today. He's a prick. I'm just going to hate on him for no reason. It's because we've got 6 previous seasons of him being absolutely shit. Do you know what I mean? That's all I can say about that.
It's going to be interesting when you got the Champions League, you got the FA Cup, obviously you got the League Cup, because Arsenal, I don't know what their priorities are this year. Like, obviously, is to win a trophy. Are they looking to win all 4 of them? Are they looking to win the Premier League? Is it the Premier League and Champions League?
He wants the Premier League, James. He wants the Premier League, mate.
So, like, if for instance Arsenal go on a run in the Champions League, and they've got a chance on that, imagine having 2 big games. You might have 2 big games in 1 week. That's where he's got to earn his money. Do you know what I mean? If he might be playing PSG on the Wednesday in a quarter final or something, and then on the Sunday he's playing Man City away.
They're the headaches you want, though, isn't it? They're the headaches you want. That's what we've waited for. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying. Though. That's what we've been waiting for. You know, to be in these opportunities where we're first playing Manchester City and then going away in the semi-finals versus Bayern Munich. You know, that's where we should be. Absolute minimum should be with the amount of money spent and time given to this manager. Minimum. Everyone sucks it off at this football club, and then also assumes we're going to go 1 step further in the Champions League by default. Well, we got to the semi-final last year, so automatically we're going to Budapest. What are they on about? Do you know, it's ridiculous. I always say this, and the Top Gooners never understand my logic or way of thinking. And I said, well, we got into 2 semi-finals last year, but we're not a semi-final team. And that blows their fucking mind, because when I explain to them, we're not a semi-final team because we entered 4 games in the semi-final when we got fucking battered in all 4 legs. Clearly, that is not your level. It's not your level, is it? You played Newcastle in a semi-final and you didn't even score on both legs. Semi-final ain't your level then, really, is it? If you're getting battered home and away, the quarterfinal's your level. Because you're getting taken the piss out of in the semis. That's not your level, clearly. Champions League, we were out that by after, 3 minutes? That clearly ain't your level. So it was all nice and well and good getting there because it looks pretty. Semi. Oh, that's brilliant. Giving them all a semi. Well, they've all got a semi. But it weren't our level, was it? Because we
it's like
lost
a team getting promoted and going back down. If a team gets promoted and goes back down, you go, well, the Premier League wasn't your level then, was it?
Exactly, yeah, exactly right. And I mean, these lot just think it's a given. Like I said, we're seeing already all of the tweets, all of the talking, everything like that, because we're 1 point ahead after 7 games. That's it. I've heard one of the geezers prior to this saying we're going to go unbeaten, like giving it all the big. And I'm like, based on what logic? Oh yeah, then we lost to Liverpool 4 days later. Like, come on, man, what are we doing here? Like
that guy also worked
like last season, though.
That's like last season in 1886, and we've been around for 200 years, so I wouldn't really.
we got Marty saying we're gonna have the best defensive record. We'll be beating Chelsea.
Oh yeah, we're beating the 15 straight away.
Yeah, we said it last year. Previous. Right, so
it's like last season, like last year when you did Madrid. You did Madrid. You know, everyone was creaming their pants because you beat Madrid, and it's a case of like, you know, that's it. We're going to go on. No. Cup games and league games are 2 different things altogether, kind of thing. And it was clear to see on that game. Yes, you will deserve to beat Madrid. There's no doubt about that. You know, but it comes back to the league format, and you. I don't need to preach to you guys. You already know the format. I mean, Shane said it quite a few times. At the end of the day, and that, you know, it goes back to there. There's no plan B, as DJB mentions, and that's it. You end up not being funny at the moment. That you're top at the moment, but you know full well that second spot. There's an indentation in that table, and they're just waiting for you to go back in there. That's your own. That's where you're going to end up again.
Yeah, but what it is, Arsenal are now the hunted. Do you know what I mean? Like, usually the team that's second or third are usually the best teams to be in that position, because their mentality is to try and get to the top. When you're at the top, it's your mentality is to try and stay there. Can Arteta handle staying there for the next 31 games? That's the $1 million question.
Mate,
you know what I mean?
And when we see it, the last time we see that, Mikel Arteta, after with 8 games to go, had last night's curry running down his legs because he shit his pants again. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've seen it in all scenarios. He can't chase and he can't defend. You know,
his semi-final record is so bad.
Yeah, facts.
I mean, I'm just looking at the fixtures in January. I mean, because that's going to be a crucial. I mean, we got Bournemouth away, then we've got Liverpool at home, and then we've got where are we? Bear with me, folks.
Well, Bournemouth did the double over us last
So you got
season.
Bournemouth away, done the double over us. They're really playing well at the moment, Bournemouth.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Liverpool at home. That's going to be a crucial game. That's on the 7th of January. Forest away. And then we've got Inter Milan, 20th of June, away in the Champions League. Depending on where we are there, that's going to be tough. So January's tough. And then after the Inter Milan game, we've got Manchester United at home. So, as I said, if we come out of January and we're kind of 6-7 points on top of the league, then I might start getting a little bit excited. Not overexcited, trust me, because I've seen us get burnt in the past. But
yeah, I've got your fixtures up here and all, right? And you play us on May the 9th. It's the third game from the end of the season. You got us.
We finish at Palace away.
It's the last place you want to go, really. That's one of the grounds
away,
you don't
last
want to
game.
go if you need 3 points.
Right.
Hopefully your safety's wrapped up by then, James, because he's fighting for staying in the league. That's a tricky game.
We're going for the Conference League, so.
Andy Carroll's coming back.
No, what it is,
Gyökeres is the same. You can have him.
Them 3 games. You've got us, Burnley, and then Palace. Right. So right, 2 of them are London derbies and all. Do you know what I mean? That's like it's the worst kind of running. I had a look just a minute ago. You got Newcastle at home. I think you've got with 6 games to go. You got City away. That's another one in there where it's a bit sort of like that one. Do you know what I mean?
See, now, when you say that, when City away, West Ham away, if you're going for a title, that's when you need your manager to kind of do something a little bit different.
What a surprise.
And do something a little bit different and get everything spot on. And they're the things that worry me with this manager. And people are going to say, oh, yeah, but look, we've got a bigger squad. But it ain't about the players now. It's about what he can do.
Yeah.
He's had players last season. The team we had last year, we should have won a trophy. Carabao Cup, FA Cup. We should have won something with the team he had last season. And he couldn't do it. I don't look at the players. The players are good enough. Because if you was to get all these players that we've got now and give them to Glasner or give them to a Klopp or give them to a Pep or give them to anyone, they're going to win a trophy.
Yep.
So I said it right from day one this season. I'm not looking at the players. I'm looking at what the manager does and key moments. It's the key moments with this manager that gets found out.
And you just hope, as you say, you hope that he learns by his mistakes.
Being top in October, great. We've had some tough fixtures. We're top of the league. But these are not the games that I'm looking at. These are not the games.
Too early. Out of the 3 top fixtures, though, DJ, the City, Liverpool, and Newcastle, he's drawn and lost one, like 2 of them. You know what I mean? It hasn't been perfect. He lost to Liverpool and he drew in the last minute against City and won it.
The best game we've played this season is Nottingham Forest at home. We was absolutely we was really good that day. In all levels, midfield, attack, we was flowing. We did look good. That's the only game. That is it.
Let me put this to you, right? Right, you play Man City away on April the 18th, and that's the 6th game from the end of the season. So you got City away, Newcastle at home, Fulham at home. Then you got us. Then you got Burnley away. Then you got Palace away. So basically, right, when you get to City on the 18th of April, how many points do you realistically need to be sort of comfortable and say, you know what, we can do it? I think Arsenal need to be at least 5 points clear.
Yeah, I'd say 7.
Yeah.
7's a really nice cushion.
Because if it's 6 and we can be caught on goal difference, they can beat us. If they beat us and then they can catch us with a win and a loss, he will find a way to lose. That's the thing. Because I said, even if he goes into the last game away to Palace and he's 3 points clear and we can lose it on goal difference, I will still believe that he will find a way.
Because what you got to remember as well, though, he's under so much pressure this season. The manager, he knows that if he doesn't deliver this season, he's gone. He ain't stupid. One thing
And he
with
knows he ain't
Arteta
getting
is
paid the
not
same anywhere else.
right?
Yeah.
He knows
100%.
he's gone. He knows he's gone. I think he's already Berta and that they know that they've got a plan B in place if he doesn't win anything major. So when it gets to that stage of the season, if we're 5-6 points clear going into that City game, the pressure's even ranked up on him. And he's going to have visions of what happened 2 seasons ago when we bottled that league. So it'd be interesting how he copes with that.
And do you know what kicks in then, DJ? Do you know what kicks in then is that when you have a team of yes men, right? And he does have a team of yes men. Even now, he still has a team of yes men. They crumble right along with him. You know what I mean? That's what happens. They don't say on field, they go, listen, don't listen to him with this lock up bollocks. This team is here for the taking. We're taking them. They won't go against them, so they will feed off him. And that's the problem. He has a team of yes men where if you looked at City and they were 1-0 and you know, I'm not even like the Arsenal game, they all sat back, they felt Arsenal were getting the better of them. But if they were 1-0 up away to a Crystal Palace or something like that, and Pep was telling them to lock up, which he wouldn't do, by the way, but if he was telling them, the likes of Haaland would go, fuck this, no, I can smell it, I can smell that this team is there for the taking, we're still pushing for this. And they would, you know what I mean? But with these guys, they go, yes, boss.
Yeah.
2 bags.
That's another reason why, as well, I think it's imperative that we have the players fully fit, like the Gabriels, like the Declan Rices, because they are that leader of men-esque style player. If there's anyone you're going to turn to, exactly, that's it. You know, if you are facing a bit of adversity in the game, you know what I mean, and it ain't going for you, and you know it's a crucial one is towards the run-in, the title. You know, you need to pick up a win. No one's looking around at Odegaard and going, "Come on, mate, give us some inspiration."
Yeah, but this is another problem
with
a manager. Sorry, mate. This is another problem with a manager. You've got Odegaard out injured. This is the perfect opportunity now to give the captain's armband to Declan Rice or Gabriel. Right, I would give it to Declan Rice and make him captain. He's got the perfect opportunity now going into Christmas with Odegaard out injured to get Declan Rice and go, right, you're now pushing this team forward. You're the captain, right? But he's not. See, this is where he's setting his ways. This is what we see, what the other fans don't see.
He'll give it to Saka, D.
He's giving him the captain's armband to Saka. Star boy.
Ridiculous.
He's the best player.
Ridiculous.
He's making Saka captain. Now, Saka's not a captain. So he could really now galvanise this team and all these new signings, the likes of Eze and all of that, they will look up to Declan Rice more than Saka, right?
100%.
I don't know why he don't use it, Rice as captain.
Because this is what he's like. This is what we see, James. This is
a theory. Maybe I could be way off. Is it because Rice won't do what Arteta wants? Because there's been time.
No, I don't believe that. I think Rice will do whatever he says. I really do. I think Rice is a battler, and I think he's all of that captain material. But I think if Arteta, if he's put his foot down, Rice would bend. I think he's more of a. I don't know
about that, Shane, because I think he said something against. He said something about Arteta before. You know, he's actually said something about Arteta, so he's not afraid to say something. Oh, Rice. At the end of the day, and you know, I said it last season with you guys. Rice for me is a captain. You know, straight off. He should replace.
If Rice is captain, you win the league. It's simple.
Exactly.
It's literally as simple as that. It was because he won't tolerate. One thing with Rice, this is where I do agree with Tone on this. Yeah, is he will take control of the situation. Like he done it against Madrid. Right?
He will, and he grabbed Thomas Partey and stuff like that. I just feel that with Arteta, he's just got that control over him. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, but I don't understand the Saka one. No,
Saka. No. I mean, he's a golden boy. You know, he's always been the golden boy. You can see that mile, and he will do it all day long. I mean, going back on some of the comments, some of the guys in the panel said, like DJB, I agree with you. At the end of the day, when you look at it, this is Arteta's choice now. He's got what he wanted. He's got strength and depth in the squad. It's how he uses it this season. This is the key thing. And go back to what Shane said, I think it was not last. I think the season before, when you was at St James's Park. I think Newcastle was 3-0 up, I do believe. And the camera was on Arteta, and he's got his arms folded, and he's looking around, and he looks over to his bench, the squad, not the squad itself, but the actual coaching team, and looked at him for an answer, and they've just gone,
I remember that. I know what game you're on
And
about.
it's
Yeah,
like-
yeah, yeah.
You're supposed to be the manager at this point, and that you've got no plan B. And this guy's never had a
never had
plan
one.
B.
Well, it
Never
is
Never had one
right. What
whatsoever.
it is, it's the fear of winning with Arteta is going to come into play here. When them last 6 games are hitting, and I think the City game's massive. Oh, absolutely huge. If you go to City and win, I think you win the league. If
Yeah.
City are 3 or 4 points behind you and they beat you at the Etihad,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
over.
game on. Like
Yeah,
it's simply,
yeah.
it's
It's
simply
like,
game
like
on.
United. It's like
All
United
go.
beating Newcastle at St James's in '95.
Yeah.
They were still a couple of points behind, but it felt
Glove
like
it.
United had gone about 8 points behind with that win. It was over.
And
Everybody.
the thing
feel
is,
it.
I said it earlier on. I actually think City are more dangerous than Liverpool. If I'm being honest,
Well, I
like,
had City to win it from the start.
yeah, like I think because City are capable of going and winning 5 in a row
Yeah.
and not even getting touched. And I think the game coming up for them when they play Liverpool at the Etihad, I think it is coming up in the next few weeks. Right, when's that? That's when you play Sunderland away. That's massive. If City beat Liverpool in that game, City are going to be hunting you down. Simple as that. And it's going to be a similar scenario that it was a couple of years ago when you and City were all the way to the end, and I think you drew again. I think you, if I remember right, I think you drew against us. Like you should have rolled us out the ground at London
Missed the
Stadium.
penalty,
yeah.
innit? Missed the penalty, Saka. Yeah,
Yeah, Saka missed the
Jared
penalty.
equalised, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the worry that you've got. But I don't understand why you don't play Rice as captain, mate. Do you know what I mean? That's a power trip, that is.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's because he
You did it with
wants
Tierney.
a captain. It's because he wants a captain in his own mould. I mean, look at how Arteta was as captain. He was just a little goody two shoes teacher's pet. I'll be a little bitch. Tell me what to do, and I'll tell the players what to do. Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry, there's no authority
True.
there. You're telling me as Mikel Arteta as captain would have been able to boss or order or give instructions to the invincible sides. Tony Adams and the Keowns and the Patrick Vieiras and the Gilberto would have gone, fuck off, you little prick.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
away. Oh, who do you think you're talking to, you average midfielder? So it's no surprise that he's given a captain's armband in a player of his own mould. And Martin Odegaard, just a goody little two shoes, NSYNC boy band looking fucking coward. That's going to just do what he wants when he wants. Now, he's given it again to a nice boy, Saka. I love Saka. He's been our match winner for the last 5 years. But I'm sorry, again, I'll use the analogy. I'm not going to go to war for him. I'm just not, because he's just a nice kid, isn't he? That's all he is. Everything's nice. You know, you've done your homework, Saka. Well done, all well and good. You can have a sweetie. I don't want that as my captain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want a big, ugly, hard bastard. It's as
You go
simple
to
as
war
that.
for him, not with him, don't you? Because he's so
Exactly.
nice. You go to war for him, not with him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I don't know why he's got 2 players just staring him in the face that are in the first team squad week in, week out, and he just will refuse to see common sense. Everyone, if we had a new manager or even anyone in the league, any manager in the league right now took over Arsenal Football Club, they would instantaneously make that captain one of their first changes.
Yeah.
Here you go, Deck. There's your armband, mate.
Yep.
Sorry, Odegaard, tough shit.
Or Gabriel. It'd be one
Yeah.
of them, wouldn't it? It'd be one of them. But this is another little fear that I've got as well, is the nitty-gritty of the season, sort of January onwards, February onwards. We don't know how he's going to go away from home, because at the moment he's kind of stuck 2 fingers up to everyone because of all this handbrake narrative. Oh, he's going to handbrake, park the bus, and that's what he's been hearing. He's sort of like against West Ham and everything else, he's kind of gone attacking and everything. But when it really matters, is he really going to play like that, or will he revert back to? We know the answer. He's going to revert back to, how do I not lose the game rather than win the game? And when you're playing City at home, when you're playing City away at the end of the season, and you've got to go to West Ham and places like that, and Palace, and is he going to really go for it? This is my biggest worry. Or is he going to try and sort of say, right, we're 5 points clear. We'll bat a little bit safe here. We'll come out with a point. And that could be his undoing, because he's done it in the past.
That's true.
Yeah.
So true, that is. Because, like, if he goes in and gets a point and then he fails in the next game, then he should have went for it against them in the first place. You know what I mean? So it's so true.
He's done it so many times,
Yeah.
James. He's done it so many times when I'm thinking, why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? You know, go and win the game. Go and win the game and like just put it to bed. And he hasn't. So I've just got a fear that he may start locking up in big games when we really could win, you know, when we could take 3 points. That's my biggest fear. Like Liverpool at the Emirates. Is he going to go attacking, or is he going to? And I know exactly what he'll do. He'll just go defensive. He'll probably go with a 3 in midfield again.
He'll revert to what he knows, won't he?
City away, he'll go there to frustrate them and try and hit them on the counter.
Well, as well. This was the frustrating thing for the away match at Anfield and the home game against Man City. Now everyone was like, "Oh yeah, but it's only match day 4. It's only match day 6. Like, why is everyone on his back?" Nah, that's what he was doing the last 2-3 seasons, isn't it? You know, I just thought it was a really good audition for Mikel Arteta to showcase that he's willing to change and try something new in these specific games. And when when the Liverpool game came to town, we saw him do exactly what got him absolutely fuck all last season. It didn't work for him last season. So match day 4 or whatever it was that we played Liverpool match day 2, we'd done the same thing that didn't work last season. It didn't work. Then 2 weeks later, 2 match days later, he gets presented with another opportunity at home to Manchester City, where you think, all right, now, you know, kind of didn't work against Liverpool. Got to right you wrong, and he plays the same shit. Coincidentally, he plays more of a free attacking sort of thing against Newcastle. Lo and behold, we go and win the game. We perform better as well. You know, we probably could have been 1 or 2-0 up prior to going 1-0 down. We performed well, something we ain't done there for about 3 or 4 attempts. So you know, this is what we've been asking for. You know, change it up a little bit. If you want something you never had, you need to do something you never did. And that is change it up in your approach in these big games. It's as simple as that.
That game against Newcastle is the game where it opened everyone's eyes to say, right, you got to start throwing the kitchen sink at it. The issue is can he handle it going 1-0 down away from home again? And like, you can't keep turning that 1-0 down and then spinning it around and going 2-1, like 2-1 victory, because a good side. And listen, Newcastle have done all right this season, but they're a bit inconsistent. But if you're playing a decent side, look, for instance, like a Crystal Palace at the minute, who are flying, you know, they lost the other day, they're doing pretty well, like a Bournemouth. That's when you've got to be able to turn it on and spin it around and get results. That's the only thing with him, is will he leave it too late? If a team sucker punches him and scores, then what he's got to do, because he literally, I watched that game. What was that Arsenal Newcastle game? He threw literally every single attacker on he had on the pitch. He was trying his hardest to get there. And fair enough, he got the result, but you ain't going to get away with that all the time.
The only reason why he done that, though, James, is because he was under so much pressure, because he knew he effed it up the week before against Man City. We'd be sitting there 4 points clear rather than 1 point clear, or we'd be sitting here. If he'd have gone for it against Man City, because they were there for the taking, he could have really laid a marker down on him. And he, you know, that's the reason why he threw the kitchen sink at it at St James's Park, because he knew that he was under so much pressure. And that's why he daren't have gone defensive against West Ham on Saturday. Because if he'd have gone defensive against West Ham on Saturday, everyone would have been on his case. So, you know, he picked a more attacking lineup. But again, it weren't 100 mile an hour gun ho, was it? It was still safety, wasn't it? It was a bit sort of training session pace, wasn't it? Really.
What's the thing?
Back, and it was just
What's the thing with Ethan? Like someone said it earlier on.
Don't get me started on him. Don't get me.
I've ruled him in now.
I know where he's in. I keep saying it. He's ending up on loan.
Well,
big up the Prone, big up the Prone who asked it as well. Big up to you, my friend. Thank you very much for the super chat. Very generous. Why isn't Ethan getting game time for whoever wants to take it?
Well, the thing is it's whether Arteta trusts him, and I don't think he trusts him. I mean, he's still quite young. But you at some point you're gonna have to let this guy show his talent. It might not be that the best off the ball, but you see, the problem is the more you leave him on the bench, the more you don't give him any game time. How's he supposed to know what he needs to do? Because going and doing all the training sessions all day is when you're in a real situation. And I think he needs to play more now with Odegaard out. the equation, he's got to pick him. But the worry is that he's just, as you say, he's going to go back to reset to factory settings and go back to the Zanussi, the Sony fridge. You know, that's what's going to happen. He's going to go back to what he knows. I was just thinking back, sort of just to flip it back around. We was just talking about how we should set up against teams. I was going to just ask this question to everybody. And what do you think? Obviously, you know, when you go to play Man City away, you're not going to open up. You know what I mean? Because they're a good attacking side, but against like mid-table sides that don't. They're good, but I think if Arteta was to let the handbrake off fully with the players that he's got, should we be able to go to those mid-table sides and bottom sides and go and take the game to them rather than setting up defensively? Because that's where we're going to pick up a lot of our points. But a lot of the times where we lost a lot of points and drew games, 14. Got to remember last season we drew 14 games. Right, 21 points of those were from winning positions. The thing is, we have to be ruthless, like we was in the 22-3 season. Just kill the teams off, and then you bring on your defensive players to just see out the game. So I'm saying, do you think that we could go against, say maybe 8-9 downwards, go out full attack, whether you're at home or away? Would you take that chance? Would you do it, or would you think no? Just get your thoughts on that.
I think you got to. You know, because you know you don't sign Gyökeres, and you don't sign Eze, and you don't have talent like Saka, Gyökeres, Eze. If Madueke's fit, get him back in the starting lineup as well. You don't have an attacking lineup like that and not use them, because what that's doing, that's just sending a message out to teams thinking, right, well, they don't fancy it. They don't fancy it. I mean. Because for me, I think we're solid enough defensively, and if he puts Declan in the 6, then we're solid enough defensively to go and hurt teams early on. Especially, you know, Sunderland, Burnley, Leeds, if you like, these sort of teams. Yeah, you might have to play a little bit cautiously, perhaps Man City away, probably, but for the first sort of half an hour or something, and then see how we are. But I honestly think when you've made a statement and signed them sort of players, and you're still going away to teams with not that kind of strike force, and you're kind of sitting back, you're not really sending out the right message. I you know. And you can then come unstuck. You know, other teams.
It's just it's a poor use of the squad, isn't it, as well, though?
Yeah, exactly.
Then think you've got all of this talent on there, and you're trying to shield a 1-0 win at home against a promoted side by bringing defenders on after 60th minute. You know what I mean? You should have the game completely won by that point. You know, and that's where we think with a new manager or a different manager, you probably do get that. You know. But this manager's set in his ways.
Going back to the question you were saying about Nwaneri and stuff like that, you've seen it with your players. You know, Smith Rowe played him for so long and that, then put in the dungeon. You've seen it with Martinelli, exactly the same thing. You've seen it with, you know, Balogun, obviously, Tierney, Guendouzi,
Skelly's doing it with
Skelly as well now. Yeah. And the thing is now, the one thing you're not mentioning at the moment, I mean, one person has put it in the chat there, how long before you see this with Dowman? Because that'll be the next one. He's done with him already. Praise. And this is the thing, Shane. I mean, you know, it's good for, like we're suddenly seeing now with Nuno, we get a little bit with Potter, but Nuno now he's given obviously Potts a go, which we've all been crying out for. We've seen it with Marshall. He gave him a go against you guys as well. And that's great to see. And he's not afraid to say, I will play these players again because they are our future. You don't see Arteta saying that. You know,
he breaks the record with them, and then he has the record.
Exactly. This is the thing. You know, you see a good spell with them, and then suddenly it's a case of, well, and I think you've all said it all before. That narcissist bit comes out where you're not doing what I'm asking, and that
getting too big for your boots. Sorry, mate.
Yeah. He gets the headline. He gets the headline and fucks them off.
Yeah. Breaks the record. That's why
Yeah.
he'll bring Dowman on. If he has until Christmas to bring Dowman on and break the Champions League record. He has until Christmas to do it. So he'll bring him on in one of those games.
He'll
He's
do
got
it.
it already circled in the diary,
He's got-
Shane.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
He's got it
yeah.
circled in the diary. Just waiting for
He's got
that date.
Yeah. In the red marker, innit? Yeah.
He ain't got a
100%.
diary. He's caving it into the wall, mate.
You see a lot of these players
He
who
writes
use
it with the blood from the operations and all the players.
You see, it's like Nwaneri now will probably get some minutes because Odegaard's injured because it's by default.
I don't think so, DJ. I don't think so.
So he's got no
Marino.
Havertz. He's got no Havertz. He's got no Odegaard. But a lot of the players, a lot of these youngsters he's used is by default. It's because of injuries and suspensions and all that. He hasn't really stuck his neck out. I mean, if you probably watch my channel, I actually call him Ethan Smith Rowe. That's what I call him because
He's the next on the list.
that's the road he's going down. The similarities are very, very similar. The way he's treating him is very similar to how he's treated Smith Rowe. I mean, I'll give you an example. Why didn't he play against Olympiacos? The kid could have got Champions League experience. He had a chance there to rotate the squad. He could have started. He could have given Ethan Smith Rowe some minutes. He never got any minutes. Didn't get anything. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. What he's doing with Ethan, he's bringing him on when he knows it's absolutely safe to do so. So no disrespects to West Ham.
Yeah.
The game was won. He knew that West Ham are going through a transition. He knew that West Ham weren't really opposing a threat. So it was safe to bring on Ethan. Forest, nice and safe. You know what I mean? They're the games that he'll give Ethan games in. Carabao Cup. But he won't ever stick his neck out and go, do you know what? I'm going to start with this kid. You know, I'm going to start with him. He's going to get a start in the starting lineup. You won't. I don't think you'll see Ethan Nwaneri actually start. He'll only come on when it's safe. Even Skelly now. See, I've been saying, I said put Skelly in midfield. I said he's not a left back. He's a midfield player. He's been brainwashed to be a left back.
What we need as well.
But he's a midfield player. And I said we didn't need to sign Zubamendi. We didn't need to waste money on. We could have made Skelly our midfield player and turned him into a real big talent going forward.
Or the left winger.
Yeah, or a left winger, Shane. Yeah, you know what I mean. But
Would you loan him in January, Ethan?
I was saying that we should have
yeah,
given him to Palace when we got Eze. We should have loaned him to Palace and let Glasner turn him
I've
into
been
an
taking
absolute
pelters
baller.
for it.
Yeah, Glasgow.
He'd
I know,
be
yeah.
balling out there. If he was there now playing with Sarr behind Arteta, he'd be absolutely balling out. And then when this other fraud's gone in the summer, the next manager goes, right, I'm building a team around you, mate.
I'll tell
That's
you
what I-
what,
that's what I was-
if West Ham had him, it'd be like your
They'd
Kyrgios.
love him there. They'd love him there. They would love him
It's a
there.
shame, isn't it? Because he's talented enough to have a real minute sort of contributing effect on the season, impact on the season. But under this manager, you can just see him. It stinks of no. I'd rather play Mikel Merino there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It reeks of it.
That's what it is. That's what
Well,
it is.
this was the biggest clue. This is all you need to know with Ethan Nwaneri. In the summer, we wanted to sell Martinelli if the offer would have come in. He'd have gone. Trossard wanted to go. He wanted to go, and we tried to sell him. No offer came in because
So we
obviously
gave him
all
more money.
our players are on such massive wages. But apparently they want to play for the manager. No, because they're put on they've gone from 60 grand a week to 150
We upped
grand.
Trossard's wage for no reason,
Right.
just so we wouldn't leave.
So against Olympiacos, he plays Martinelli and Trossard. He puts Martinelli on the right, Trossard on the left. That's all you need to know where Ethan Nwaneri is at this football club.
Yeah.
Two players that we wanted to get rid of in the summer starts ahead of him in the Champions League.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to that, can you ask me that question? Why is it with you guys, or not you guys personally, but why is it when you get some of these players and that you put them on extortionate wages and that, and then you wonder why you can't sell them?
Because
Go on,
apparently, all these players, they all want to play for Arteta. So why are we putting them exactly? Why are they going on big wage? You'd swear that was the incentive. You know what I mean? But no, according to these guys, Lewis Skelly turned down Madrid and Zubamendi turned down Madrid, and They all turned down Madrid to play under this. There's no fucking self-respecting player that wants to play under this lunatic, man. You know what I mean? There's not. So that's why we have to put them on big wage. We have to put them on big wage. London's a draw. You know what I mean? Arsenal should be a draw. They're a big club. The downside is playing for a lunatic who's never won anything. Because every player he has signed, technically every player he has signed has never won a trophy with Arsenal because they've been here with him. You know what I mean? So people think that they're coming to play under his system. There's no attacking player, especially, that wants to play under his system. No technical player wants to. They watch football. They'd be watching us play and go, God, I suppose I'll go if you give me a lot of money.
What would you say, though, Shane, is the best solution for Ethan, for you?
He has to leave. He has to leave. I said even if he left permanently, I'd be absolutely gutted. Everybody on this panel knows I rate him as one of the highest of all our players. I've always said if I came in, I'd say I'd put him into the office and go and building the team around you. But I even said if he left permanently, I wouldn't hold it against him at all. I'd wish him well. And I'd keep an eye on him and go, I hope he does well where he goes. I'd wish him all the best in the world. He'll be 19 soon, and he'll be 20, and it'll be too late for him. You know what I mean? Like there must be the likes of a Hansi Flick looking at him, going, "Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind having him on my team."
Even Dortmund or someone like that.
Dortmund, that's what I said. I said he should have gone to Germany last season, but I really think Palace this season would have been a brilliant move for him.
Yeah,
brilliant move for him.
Yeah, 100%. It almost slots too perfect, doesn't it? You know, nice little sweetener for the Eze deal. They get to replace sort of someone-ish. Do you know what I mean? Without doing it any business, you know, we'd probably get Eze a little bit cheaper. You know what I mean? It was all there. I just not for this manager. He'd rather keep him and not play him. How stupid is that?
Give him a new contract then.
Yeah, that's it. It's frustrating. It's fair enough. Look, you've protected his market value, but if you let him rot on the bench or in the reserves, then he's got no market value anyway. And we've seen time and time again, this manager destroys market value. It destroys market value in terms, and the club also have to be accountable for this by giving them, like what Tony was saying, and high wages. You set yourself up to fail instantaneously, because the second you start giving players twice, thrice, 4 times what they're worth for in terms of contract, you're fucked. Because unless they do the business, hit the ground running, or have a fantastic season, this and all that, you're stuck with them. Because if they have, especially the latter, they have a poor season, guess what? Zinchenko only stays at the club for 5 years on 150k a week, and he, in the last year of his deal, gets a loan with an option to buy. He'd be a fucking free agent. I mean, and that is the perfect example about how poor we start off negotiations. We set ourselves up to fail from the very beginning with these players. They have to be proper successful signings, or we're fucked. We shoot ourselves in the foot. Calafiori, if he don't work out, he's doing all right. And Joseph Connor Golden here mentions a little bit of DJB as well. He says, big up Aaron, big up Norms and Shane at DJB, of course. And you sent this in before Tone and James joined the panel. Don't forget, everyone, their links, everyone's linked, are pinned in the chat. So if you're not going to smash a like on the stream for me, make sure you get your ass over and subscribe to all of these wonderful fuckers on the panel. Make sure you do that.
I've done a thing on Calafiori.
Yeah, and that's it. He's saying DJB said loves his lovely stuff rather on his favourite, the Sweet Prince, the long-faced horse Calafiori yesterday. Big up to Joseph Connor Golden, our geezer, man. He's always in all the channels supporting, and we're all grateful and appreciative for it, my brother.
I mean, you saw it with 2 players you had, in the past. I mean, like, is it Nicholas Anelka? You put him on big money and that, and also he wanted to go. He did exactly the same with Eddie Bayor and that, and all of a sudden he was gone within, months? Yeah. He was in the Man City player at that point.
Learned our lesson. Trouble is, we don't sell anyone. That's the problem.
No, but we got decent money for those players, to be fair. We got market value.
Shane, I mean, it's a case of you give these players money and that, and all of a sudden it's a case of, don't get me wrong, they probably had sense and thought, sod this, that I got what I wanted and that, I'm off. Maybe that was the case.
The example there of Adebayor probably went to City and doubled his money anyway, and then
most definitely in that one.
The problem is that when you put them on so big wages, they look at teams like, I use West Ham as an example. Like if Ethan come to West Ham, that would be a great signing for us, because one thing we can do is develop players. We've got a lot of youngsters coming through. But he ain't going to look at us with a second thought if he's on higher wages. Do you know what I mean? He's always going to look at the big 6. Now, is he going to go to Man City? Probably not. Liverpool, probably not. He's currently at Arsenal. The only place I could really honestly see him going is Chelsea.
I could see him going to Liverpool. I could see him going to Liverpool. cover for Salah and then play in the midfield in between.
Slotted utilised him though, boys, wouldn't he? That's the thing.
United.
Pep would utilise him somewhat. Everyone would utilise him, but Mikel Arteta last season it took Jesus, Martinelli, Havertz, and fucking Odegaard out to be injured just for him to get a game.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to have half the squad out just for him
we've got
to get
Jesus to come back yet.
Oh, Jesus.
for the one game.
You're saying about Ethan and that, I mean, going to Crystal Palace, but you never know. Glaston might have said, like, old fire at the moment because I'll, give it a couple of months or maybe weeks, and I might be the Man United manager, and then you can come and join me then. You can be one of those cases.
Or even give it till the end of the season, and I'll be the Arsenal manager.
Yeah,
That's it. A bit of Stuart Pearce. That's it.
Go on, man. Aaron Vincenzo has asked me and James a question. I've done
before I do need to leg it. I do need to leg it before.
Big up, Shane.
Mate.
Shane,
sorry.
No, I got to be up early. Talk to you later, lads. Pleasure. Everybody.
See you tomorrow, Shane. Take care, buddy. Bye, mate.
Everyone in the chat, please be reminded that at 10:30 you'll have the full Irish, not Irish, Irish. Follow Shane, go and watch him, tune in and watch him chef up some of the top little simp bitches at 10:30, probably until about 12:30. Yeah. You all know what to do. Come on, go over and support Shane and his channel. Sorry, what you going to say? Was it Vincenzo?
Vincenzo is asking me and James, would we take Madueke at West Ham?
Yeah, I would. I mean, don't know about you, Tone, but
I mean, it'd be one of those players that will grow onto us. I think it'd be one of those types. We were kind of like ate him first of all, and that for because thinking is he the right player, but he'll grow into it, and I think would become okay with us. So yeah,
if Ethan
you can have Havertz if you want. What do you reckon? Havertz, 65 million?
Sorry, mate. The other things are playing up. What was that again?
Not for me. If Ethan become available in January, I'd hope West Ham go after him. Because he's sort of player West Ham need. Do you know what I mean? Young, fresh, raw talent. And that's the only thing. The issue is, I think under a David Moyes side, he would have been excellent for us. Do you know what I mean? When David Moyes was West Ham manager, I think he would have been excellent. But I don't know under Nuno. It's going to be interesting to see how Nuno copes. But it's a shame with him, really, because I thought he started off really well with Hughes last year. I remember when he scored the goal that won you the game at Brighton, I think it was. I think he scored the winner, yeah. And, Arteta, mate. So obviously, you know a bit more about Arteta than obviously me and Tone, but Arteta just feels like he's a complete psychopath.
James, we know about 6 years too much of Arteta than we ever wanted to. Do you know what I mean? That's unfortunate for us.
Thing is with Arteta,
you know way too much
outside the box. That's what a lot of fans don't do. They don't think outside the box with him. They just think of what's going on. So at the moment, top of the league. So everything else now doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
But a lot of the fans are fucking idiots, though, aren't they? That's the thing. This fan base, I've never seen such a gaggle of bitches in my life, man.
Yeah, but you know what, though, mate? I'm going to say this. Yeah, it's not just in like Arsenal. It's even in the West Ham fan base. Like the meltdown that they had on Saturday after losing to Hughes boys was borderline. Literally, I'm going to be straight. It made me fucking ill. Right, the negativity of it just made I was just like, I can't be dealing with YouTube. Do you know what I mean? At night, because it was.
You're relegated, James, compared to a lot of them.
Mate, lucky hell, mate, I'm relegated, and we're going to play Port Vale on a Tuesday night in Stoke. Fucking ridiculous.
Just walked through the door, and already you got some sort of structure, and you've gone already.
Yeah, it's just I don't know what it is. Right, I don't know. People, I don't know what it is, DJB. I really don't. Like, for me, I'm not that delusional to go and think, it's all the end of the world, right? But 4 days before that, we got a point at Everton, and everyone's saying, well, this could be the start or something. It's our fans are fickle. That's all I'm going to say. So
I think what it is, James, more of a kills now. I think unfortunately with our lot.
I think it's Forest is lost.
No,
I think you've got a good manager. Sorry, mate. I think you've got a good manager in place there. I really do.
No, I totally agree on that. I think Nuno is, we're fortunate. I mean, when you think about it, when Forest lost the last game, and that the fans are crying out Nuno's name, and Marinakis is there listening and all that kind of thing. That tells you straight away. But going back to what James is saying, I think unfortunately some fans got too higher expectations. and it's a case of, we are look. Let's not beat around the bush. We're West Ham at the end of the day. We know our mettle. We know where we stand in this kind of scheme of things. But for some of them, and that it's a case of we should have an elite manager, and also it should be we should be steamrolling teams left, right, and centre. That's not the case. We've got a board that kind of don't give a fuck about the fans, don't give a fuck about where we are, etc. And also, don't get me wrong, they have spent some money. We've bought some players in that have been fairly okay, but they've bought a load of crap at the same time as well. And it's now the fact of we've got in someone, we've got rid of Potter, got in Nuno, and they're expecting that we're going to turn it over overnight, and it don't happen like that. He's coming in, like as James said, the Everton game showed some potential against you guys. Yes, you got you won 2-0, but at the same point, the positive that came out of that was he made us a bit more compact when it comes to defending. Whereas before that, we was like a horse draws at the end of the day, and that we'd let anything coming in. At least now against you guys, it's a bit more compact. Yes, you got the first goal, Rice got the goal there, and of course, you got the second one from a pen. But other than that, if you think about it, if it weren't for that one goal, were you scoring any others? That's the question you've got to ask yourself as well.
It was a little bit timid sort of performance.
Flat,
I think. It was flat, and it was the sort of the same against Olympiacos. Although we was a little bit better in terms of attacking against Olympiacos, but the same sort of thing was there. We needed that second goal, a lot earlier to feel comfortable. I never really felt comfortable at 1-0 against Olympiacos, and even against West Ham. Maybe it's because you've seen them inflict damage against us over the last 2 seasons, so you got a little bit of that in the back of your mind. But you just know that one good moment, and then there you go. West Ham get an equaliser on the 66th minute or whatever, instead of we getting the penalty, and all of a sudden it's panic stations. All of a sudden, Liverpool, that you don't finish at the top of the table. Sorry, you be at the top of the table because you've drawn instead of won. They're 2 massive games, and then you get the feeling of, well, what's the point in beating Newcastle in such fanfare? Last-minute winners, excellent. Use it as a platform and a springboard or whatever, and then you go and draw at West Ham. It's no good. So you have all of these thoughts in there, but I mean, overall for us as well, I think for you guys, like you're saying, you could have had a whacking maybe on another day, or the way you've been playing before. You kept it compact, kept the scoreline reasonable. It weren't embarrassing, was it? 2-0, and for us, it was, aside from an injury, it was just a job well done. It was a box tick, a clean sheet, a comfortable 2-0 win, and like I said, another one done. Momentum can maybe be built, and I'll again add on to this point as well that I was saying a little bit earlier. Teams, when they're going to win when they win the league, rather, when I start talking English properly, for fuck's sake, when you go and you're challenging for that title and you're champions and you look like champions, you go on runs, you go and win Premier League matches by hook or by crook. And Arsenal Football Club now have a good opportunity to not only capitalise on some trickier fixtures for Manchester City and Liverpool, but the run that we've got. Yes, of course, there's tricky games in there, 150%. I'm not going to deny that. But if you're gonna stamp your authority on this Premier League title and be in there, be there come Christmas, and get the points in the bag now, this is the run to do it. Go on that 7-8 game winning run, or worst case scenario, drop a little draw in there somewhere, But we've got an opportunity now to go, right, this is going to be our league. Maybe we won't blow every single team away, but if we can be steady, 2-0 here, 3-1 there, whatever, no one will complain on my end. I'll be quite happy with that. But we've got to do it. We can't fuck around. And as DJB said, we've got it in our locker, aka Arteta's got it in his locker, to when we've got that opportunity to really, go ahead and stamp our said authority on the league. He bottles it. He plays Havertz in midfield. He does crazy decisions to make himself look like a genius to warrant going 5 points clear. And it backfires in his face yet again. And the ones who suffer ain't the geezer pocketing 15.6 million fucking quid a week, a month rather, or a year. I'm absolutely waffling. It's us. The geezers who have to budget in and fork out 1,500 quid to go and watch this football club be unsuccessful yet again. So it does get frustrating, you know what I mean? But overall, like, it's a good businessman-like performance, and I'll take it again next week against Fulham because that's going to be a very tricky game.
There's huge pressure on Arteta this season, right? As you know, right? And I've always said this to you ever since I've started coming on here, is that basically it's all or nothing this year. Well,
Yeah.
pardon the pun, but it is all or nothing. If you
Oh,
don't win, if you don't win a trophy this year, then he has to go. Also, I do fear if Arsenal do collapse, right, and obviously when you're going for a title, you have to maintain that element of winning mentality. Win, win, win. Right?
Yeah.
Can Arteta handle the consistent pressure of having to win a game rather than and not dropping no points? Because if he's got City breathing on his neck, that's when you're going to know if he's got the bottle or not. I actually think Arteta needs a bit more than that, though. I think he needs City and Liverpool to sort of fall away like they did, like teams did against Liverpool last year. Do you mean? Because Liverpool won the league last year, but they won it really in second gear because other teams were falling apart around them, and like they were going to win the game, and you would draw a game, or City were awful, and you were falling apart towards the back end of last season. I think he needs that to happen for him to win the league. I don't think he can handle it. If it's a straight shootout between him and City, for example, and it's like I win, you win, I win, like that. Can he handle it? Like, can he handle it if City have just won a game and he has to go to a place and win? That's where the mentality is. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see. I think Man City. If Man City are close to you, come the 18th, then it is going to be an interesting running. I think it's going to be a tight title race. I've seen a lot of people say that Arsenal is going to roll it out of the ground, that they're going to be done by March. I don't know about that one, but
Ridiculous. Based on what?
That's what I'm saying. Like, right, but they forget that Arsenal will be in the FA Cup, they'll be in the League Cup, and they'll be in the Champions League and all. So
Yeah, now, folks, let me just get a couple of these supers and we will wrap up. And we had Suge, our brother from down under, of course, being complimentary to everyone else on the panel, bar me, because he's our twat in the chat, El Suge. We love a bit of Suge. Big up the pre-puberty bubbles, that would be me, with facial fluff of a baby goat. Meh. Top Gooner, I think you'd rather say, peasant Sean Williams, a.k.a. Shane. The legendary DJB, the legendary Normski, and the legendary Tony, and of course the legendary James, who weren't here when he put that in. Hit the likes, and they're exactly right. He's exactly right for a change. I agree with Suge. If you guys don't want to smash a little cheeky like on the stream for me, please go and sub to every single one of these panelists because, you know, they deserve it. They give you great content. It's all free, and their links are pinned in the chat. And Suge, of course, being Suge, is not finished there. Adam, aka me, did your shirt shrink as well? You are the only short clown I know rejected from a circus for being too short and funny looking. Thank you very much, dude. I mean,
you sure it's not your old man there, Aaron?
Yeah, I know. I think sometimes it is. Well, I mean, my mum did put it about a little bit, so I mean, like maybe Suge is my dad. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? You've got about 35 years of birthday and Christmas presents to make up for, Suge. So keep them super chats coming.
Breaking those DNA tests on Aaron Talks Football.
Yeah.
Jeremy Carles, get it?
Yeah, the lie detector determines that was a lie. Yeah.
Big up the Prome, man. Big up my Prome.
Yeah, big up Prome, and he's super in. He loves a bit of DJB, and of course, why not? He's an absolute geezer. And so thank you again very much, and of course, DJ Crane as well, another geezer. Elite panel, elite chat, absolutely right. Elite show, thank you very much. And Elite Stellars, yeah, I haven't had any today, so I'll make up for it tomorrow morning by drinking 4 before I go to work for you, mate. I mean, I probably won't, but I probably might. And as well, Lynch, big up to you. I didn't actually read your one. Big up to Lynch, man. I'm seeing you in the chat quite a lot recently, and I massively appreciate the support. Yeah, big up for the super sticker, geezer. Absolutely appreciate it as always. And of course, you're 1 month member, man. Big up for being a member, of course. And big ups to you, legends. Thanks for the laughs. Now, man, that's it. Things are going all right at Arsenal. Nothing to scream and shout about. We all keep our feet on the floor firmly, you know. But yeah, it's been all right. You know what I mean? Nothing to really really shout and scream about too much. As long as we can keep this going, I'll be a double happy man. And then it means I don't have to come home and take it out on my missus when we lose. So, you know what I mean? All well and good. And yeah, we will wrap up there. DJB, what have you got coming up, my friend?
Yeah, busy. What am I on? We do our retro show tomorrow. Me and Shane going through the old football kits of the past, bringing back some memories. What else? Then I'm on Jez, Dan Potts, and then Wednesdays, me and Normski on the midweek mingle on the Wednesday. That right, Norms? And then Thursday is the chat show. Me, Kenny, Ken, and obviously Aaron, if you can make it.
I will always try.
And that's it. Yeah. And then back round to Sunday. Sunday sit back. That's it.
Yeah, lovely,
nothing,
man. And of
nothing on
course,
Friday or Saturday. I could try and keep that free.
yeah, and a bit of time to yourself, innit? Otherwise, Streamland takes over.
It's been a pleasure, mate. It's been a pleasure being on with you, and it's been a pleasure being on with the West Ham faithful as well as always. Yeah, hopefully on
West Ham OGs. The West Ham OGs.
The West Ham OGs. Hopefully they'll turn the corner.
Yeah.
If they can keep Jared Bowen in January, that'll be.
Guys don't know what a loose
Oh, cheeky Jared Bowen to Arsenal. Was that a winger signing?
Yeah, swap deal. You can have Ethan.
Yeah. We have Jared.
Large Scotch, lads.
Yeah, we'll stay. No, but I know we're wrapping up. But do you think his head's turned yet, or do you think he's giving this man, or do you think he's going to?
Well, right. Funny you say that, DJB. I've just before I came on at the show, and I just did a little video about is Jared Bowen tempted to leave West Ham? I did a little video on that. So if you get a chance, have a quick look at that as well.
Yeah, I'll have a little look.
There has been some comments kind of said, could his head be turned? But he's happy where he is.
About it, especially when he's seen Deck at Arsenal, and
I think I think for me, I know James is going to put his input on this, but I think he's very happy where he is. I think he wants to help get turn the club around with Nuno. He seems to be developing quite a rapport with him, so that's good to see that in that respect. Plus the fact, if you look at it, use free and that, and obviously the Arsenal people in the chat, you've definitely got to do some persuading to Danny Dyer Senior to get this man to part ways and come to you guys, because other than that,
we'll send Normski round. He'll sort him out.
Yeah, the enforcer. That's what Jess calls me, the enforcer.
Don't forget, it's King Dyer. If you go by his history family tree, it's King Dyer. Don't forget.
Danny. For me, I'll be honest. I think this year might be interesting with Bowen. I think he'll see the season out, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the summer next year, as if West Ham are in the league. I don't think he's going to bail out in January. I think he's staying here to the duration. I think he's going to try and get us out of stuck. We have to keep him fit. Simple as that. Because if he goes down, I think we're massively in trouble. Honestly, I think there's a lot of issues with West Ham. Just to wrap this up quick. First thing, protests. There's a lot of protests. There's a lot of heat on the ownership of the club, and it has to be maintained because this owner is really just taking the piss out of us. So there's a lot of protests off the pitch. There's a lot of issues on the pitch. I think West Ham need to get the issues on the pitch sorted out sooner rather than later. Right? I think Nuno can sort that out, and we will do the rest off the pitch by protests, by media, by everything, because our owner's on the ropes at the minute. He's massively on the ropes, and the media is starting to see what the real problems are at West Ham. So, we've got to maintain that. If we can get to 17th this year, right, I'll take it. But this season's dead for me, right? West Ham, the aim this year is to stay in the league. There's no style of play. I don't care how we play, how we look, just stay in the league. Because obviously, if West Ham go down, then that's it. It's game over. So that's what it's all about for me. But we just got our next 4 games are huge. Like Brentford, Leeds, Newcastle at home, Burnley at home. Right, they're massive. Do you know what I mean? If we don't get any points out of them, then we're in trouble. So big games coming up.
You got to get them points on the board, and and get some form of run going. You've just got to start doing it, otherwise it does look a little bit worrying.
I've been saying it though to you, mate. I've said it to you a few weeks ago, and I remember you boys saying, "Nah, you'll be all right." It's just when you know your club, like you know your club, like I know mine, and like when the problems are there. The issue is we've got 2 problems at me. We've got a problem on the pitch, and we've got a problem off the pitch. and the off the pitch stuff. I ain't gonna say it's dictating where West Ham are, but some of the decisions that we've had over the last 15 months have been borderline criminal. I mean, from our ownership. West Ham 2 years ago won a trophy, and we was over the moon with that. We should have been progressing, and we have gone. We're more closer to the championship. Well, it's a fact. We're more closer to the championship than we are to potential Conference League, which is quite frightening, really. Like, do you know what I mean? And we're one of the favourites to go down this year, with current prices. We're joint favourites with Sunderland. Now look how well Sunderland started. Fucking hell, it's going to be a big one. But I don't know, Nuno. For me, I think we'll get it right. I think he'll get it right. He'll get into these players and give them a bit of aggression that they was lacking with Potter. So we have to see.
I think it's a good signing, and as I said, I do hope that he can sort of get his teeth into that West Ham squad and definitely keep him up as a platform to build on for next season. Because you're probably right, this season is a little bit of a write-off. I think it'd be fair to say if you can just stay in the league and do as best as you can, finish as high as possible, and then hopefully with Nuno, once he's got his feet into the ground, you know what I mean, and been the manager for 5, 6, 7 months or whatever, and can have a fresh. Well, he'll obviously have a winter window, but having a fresh summer, recruit some of his own players, and maybe properly build from it next summer. Because I mean, like you said, I think it's fair to say since you won that cup, I mean, you never built on it, and I think that's what from outside looking in. It seems to be a lot of your frustration because you've got to that point where you've won yourself a European trophy, you got something in. That's it. Yeah, you've done that, and you just think, all right, cool, you're here now. Go to here.
The biggest mistake.
It just didn't materialise.
Aaron, the biggest mistake was hiring Julian Lopetegui, right? And people said about getting rid of Moyes, right? Moyes had to go really because I think when you reach to a level, you want to try and maintain that level and go beyond that level. Look at Glasner at Palace, for instance. The moment we signed Julian Lopetegui, that's when it went all down the pan, really. Like you've gambled. Well, the one thing with our owner, this is why the protests are happening right now, and this is why we're going to have probably one of the biggest protests in history in regards to getting an ownership out. We're looking at between 10 and 15,000 people at Burnley protesting outside the ground. That's a lot of West Ham. People who, like myself, I will be there, who have never set foot in the LS. And these people can be protesting outside, right, 3 hours before the game starts. So there's a lot of issues. And I actually feel sorry for West Ham fans in this situation because we've been really stitched up by our owner, big time. And it's only now a lot of people are starting to see it. But people were blaming managers and players and things like that. But the problem always has been, always will be, David Sullivan. It always will be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, facts.
No, facts, man. Big up Lawrence as well. Nearly forgot this one, mate. Big up. I'm glad I had a little flick for him. And you're saying, man, have you all been celebrating Happy Invincible Day with a gal after Palace lost their unbeaten record?
No.
Yeah, man. I'm still trying to recover from the 15 beers I had last night just to celebrate the Invincible Day. That's it. So we've got to celebrate, but seriously now, I don't really look into things like that. It's all little added things for people like a gal and all of that sort of clan to cling on to, innit? For me, Invincible was 22 years ago, man. I want to win this title now, innit? You know what I mean? Who cares about that? It's a lovely record to have, but ultimately, man, I'm not really thinking about 22 years ago. I'm thinking about 22 weeks' time. Where are we going to be then? But Lawrence, man, big up to you, man. I hope you're doing good, my friend. And we will actually wrap it up there.
Big up.
Sometimes you get lost and then you carry on, don't we? Otherwise, we'll be wrapping up for another hour. It's 20 past 12. I'm conscious, obviously, at the time. But big up to the world-class chat as well, most importantly. It's massively grateful, man, that all of you are here. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoy a nice couple of hours of shut-eye before whatever the fuck you're doing on Tuesday morning. And on that note, double boom. Arteta out. Sweet.